Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest severe weather coverage. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon thus far. We have a lot to talk about as this afternoon is expected to be a very active next few hours. We are anticipating the threat of tornadoes to rapidly increase over the next couple of hours as we are anticipating a couple of discrete cells to fire off out in front of this line between now and about 5 o'clock. So we do think the potential for strong tornadoes is going to be on the rise over the next couple of hours, and damaging winds and some hail and as well as a low-end tornado threat with the line of storms will continue. So we're going to talk all about it before we get too far into today's stream. As a reminder, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. And today's stream is also brought to you by shopmaxvelocity.net. If you want to get 1 million subscriber merch, it is the top link in the description below. Let's begin with what's happening out there right now, and we're going to begin with Louisiana. We have not had much happening over the last couple of hours. We were obviously live back at around 12 o'clock or so. The weather was overall kind of quiet. We didn't have anything really significant happening, and not much has changed since then, but we are anticipating storms to rapidly intensify over the next couple of hours as a lot of warmer and more moist air is going to be building across the deep south, and a lot more instability and wind shear is going to be increasing here across areas like Louisiana and Mississippi. So we are anticipating the severe weather threat to only increase over the next few hours. We do have a little bit of rotation just offshore here of Louisiana that's going to be moving towards Highway 82. Wouldn't be surprised if we got a small tornado warning over there. Back over near Lafayette and Interstate 10, we have damaging winds and frequent lightning happening with this complex of storms that is approaching Lafayette, Louisiana, right along I-10, and it will also be approaching St. Martinsville over the next 20 minutes or so. So make sure that you're staying away from windows. The main concern here is damaging winds upwards of 60 miles per hour. Bottom right of your screen is a live shot just south there of Lafayette. That right there is the camera. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. We'll see what it looks like as this storm gets a little bit closer, but we are anticipating damaging winds as the main threat with this segment of storms right now near Interstate 10, just off to the west of Baton Rouge. A little bit further off to the north and west, we do have a rare destructive severe thunderstorm warning. This means that there is a threat here for damaging winds exceeding 80 miles per hour. So make sure if you're anywhere in this severe polygon right now across southwestern Mississippi and just to the north of Baton Rouge that you are staying away from windows. This is similar to an EF0, EF1 type intensity when it comes to wind speeds. So we are definitely talking about significant damage in this area. Power outages are possible in addition to shingles possibly being blown off roofs. Definitely want to make sure that you are staying away from windows if you are in that particular area. Further off to the north near Hazelhurst and as well as Brookhaven, we are talking more about a significant wind threat that is rolling through this area, approaching Interstate 55. Damaging winds around 60 to 70 miles per hour is going to be a possibility. Before we went live, we did have a tornado warning that was back over east of St. Joseph. The good news is that this is currently not a significant tornado threat for right now, but we do have a significant wind threat that is going to be moving into Jackson, Mississippi here over the next several minutes. I have been eyeing this area northwest of Jackson, back over near Route 49 near Betonia, going towards Canton. I honestly think that this could actually become something that's tornadic in a little while. It has had a little bit of rotation from time to time. At the bare minimum, we are talking more about a damaging wind risk, but I do think a tornado threat is not out of the question with this segment of storm activity as it moves towards Canton in Mississippi. The further north you go, the less severe these storms get. We mostly just have strong storms back up near Greenwood and as well as Grenada, and then all the way back up near Memphis, Tennessee, we have a very weak little line that is drawn on the map here that basically is nothing. We don't really have much left up here in Mississippi, but I do think this line of storms will intensify again as we go later into this afternoon and as well as into the early evening hours. This is first perspective. This is what it looks like right now back over near Memphis. It is honestly pretty quiet right now. Nothing too crazy happening in the Memphis, Tennessee region, but again, a little bit of rain out there, some gusty winds, nothing that's going to really hurt too much. I think overall the severe weather threat across the Memphis area and as well as even back up into Missouri is on the lower side of things. Back up into Missouri, this is an area for now that is not seeing much activity, but I do think we're going to see an isolated tornado threat start to ramp up in about an hour, maybe about 2 hours from now, back between Springfield and Jefferson City. A couple of cells will likely fire off and we may see an isolated tornado threat come out of that. But other than that, again, our greatest concern, I think, over the next couple of hours is going to be focused towards areas in eastern Louisiana and as well as southern Mississippi. And the reason why is because if we go over to the latest future model run, which obviously take this with a grain of salt, it is accounting for some of the ingredients that we have now, but also it might be overplaying it just a little bit. This is by about 3 o'clock, so right about 30 minutes from now. We are talking about mostly a line of thunderstorms still from Jackson back through Lafayette. But here's the thing, by 4 to 5, we actually do have a chance for maybe 1 or 2 discrete storms to fire off out in front of this line of storms. And if this does end up happening, we will have the potential for a strong tornado risk for sure, because this is a very favorable environment. The problem that's limiting a lot of the storms right now is that they're all confined to a line, which is basically meaning that they're all sharing energy amongst each other. But if we get anything that is solo out in front of the line, that is what's going to produce a potential for a more strong and significant tornado threat during the mid to late afternoon hours. So the time frame to watch for this is really from about 3 till about 6 o'clock over out in eastern Louisiana and as well as southern Mississippi. The HRRR has a couple of those supercells developing between Hattiesburg and New Orleans. So that's definitely something we need to monitor. If that doesn't happen, we are still talking about a significant wind threat with a couple of tornadoes being possible in eastern Louisiana between Hattiesburg back through Meridian and also into parts of southern Mississippi near the West Gulfport area. So definitely want to make sure that you are staying weather aware. And then further off to the east, this line of storms will still be significant, I think, all the way through about midnight tonight. We're still talking about a damaging wind risk even across Alabama and also back into the Florida Panhandle, where storms are likely to ramp up closer to 10 to 12 o'clock tonight before eventually that moves into Georgia as well as throughout parts of Florida as we go into tomorrow morning. With that said, the Storm Prediction Center has just issued a new mesoscale discussion for parts of Mississippi and as well as Louisiana. They have maintained their probability guidance here when it comes to our peak intensity. They still are forecasting the peak tornado intensity be around 120 to 150 miles per hour. That means we still have a chance for an EF2 or EF3 type tornado here in the Deep South. And then in addition to that, damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour still remains likely for many areas. We are anticipating scattered damaging winds in both Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, and even back over into Florida. Hailstone size is expected to remain very low as we are not expecting many discrete cells, but if any do end up firing off, that is where we're watching for a bit more of an elevated risk for large hail. And then if we combine everything here when it comes to both the instability and all the wind shear, again, our peak tornado threat appears as if it's going to be right around 4 o'clock or so. Notice how we have some pink values popping up here, around 7 and 8 for our significant tornado parameter values. Essentially, what that means is that we will have a higher end potential for tornadoes around 4 to 5 o'clock. It's going to be contingent more, though, on us having discrete cells out there. If any do end up firing off, I am a bit more concerned about the potential for a strong tornado or two. This tornado threat will continue even into the early evening tonight and even into the overnight hours right along the Gulf Coast. The good news is that the tornado threat will really be dying off, I think, after midnight, and then we'll have a rebound of that tornado risk tomorrow back along the East Coast, which for right now does not appear to be super significant on the East Coast, but we may see a tornado or two from Pennsylvania back into North Carolina during the early afternoon hours tomorrow. So we'll talk more about that probably a little bit later in the stream, but no matter what, right now we are definitely talking about storms that are continuing to ramp up. This line of storms is continuing to produce damaging winds around 60 to upwards of 80 miles per hour. As I mentioned before, we do have a destructive severe thunderstorm warning north of Jackson. In fact, we are actually starting to see some rotation now back over near Gloucester in Mississippi. That is going to be moving northeast towards Bude, and Bude has had a bunch of tornado warnings over the last couple of months, and I wouldn't be surprised if we for some reason did get another one with this activity. So this will be something to watch for as this moves off to the northeast, maybe even a little bit of rotation behind that as well near Woodville. Completely rain wrapped, by the way, but this storm here near Gloucester has a little bit of that look, has a little hook to it, a little inflow notch, and rotation right now is not super strong by any means, but it is something we're going to have to monitor, I think, over the next hour or so as this continues to move to the northeast. And then back up near Jackson, we were watching rotation just north of Jackson a moment ago. Still appears as if we have a little bit of rotation that's heading towards Canton, Mississippi. That'll be going towards I-55. This is a potent line of thunderstorms right now that is producing numerous damaging winds around 60 to 80 miles per hour. So you're going to want to make sure if you're anywhere along this line of thunderstorms that you are staying away from windows and preferably on the lowest floor possible as this line continues to push to the east. And so that is the latest on today's update. Again, we are expecting a long afternoon of severe weather still. Also, we have a couple of updates. I do want to go over to the SPC outlook before we go back into live radar. So we do have a new SPC outlook for today. It is very different, actually, for a couple areas. So beginning with our SPC outlook for today, the enhanced risk has been condensed. So it really mainly only includes now areas back over in eastern Louisiana, also back into southern Mississippi, and even back over into southern Alabama. We still have that enhanced risk, including parts of the Florida Panhandle as well. Marginal threat of severe weather extends back up into the lower Midwest and as well as the Central Plains. You're probably wondering, what is the big change? Well, obviously it's been condensed, but the other thing is our tornado risk has shrunk down quite a bit. The main area that we're watching for a significant tornado threat is going to be confined towards the Gulf Coast. Again, a couple strong tornadoes being possible in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and then a low-end tornado risk back over in basically the four corners of the Southern Plains. It's obviously not four corners, but back over in southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, northwest Arkansas, and northeast Oklahoma. So if you're back up in Illinois or Indiana, or even eastern Missouri, the Storm Prediction Center for now has removed your tornado risk, but the marginal risk for damaging winds is still in place. So just keep that in mind. We do have a risk there still for some damaging winds here over the next little while. All right, let's we got a few different live shots that I want to go to. We're going to begin with, let's go ahead and go full cam. We don't have a tornado warning. Sorry, I keep having that pop up. Let's go over to, we have this right here. This is over in Lafayette, Louisiana, which that's actually a little bit scuddy on the bottom there. This is a line of storms that is producing some damaging wind potential right now near Lafayette. We'll have a better view of this here in a minute, but right now we are starting to see that storm roll in. But this right here is back over on a Hazcam. I don't know if I did the right camera. It might be 3. This is on the Hazcam back over in Tupelo, Mississippi. And you can see right now in Tupelo, we don't really have much happening here, but I do want to point out this is a very unique feature that we are seeing. So you'll notice how high the clouds are right now, and look at the radar right now. We got Tupelo, a few storms rolling into Tupelo right now. These particular storms are very elevated, and you can actually see that with the cloud base. It is a very high up cloud base. So these storms are heavily elevated, basically meaning that we're not going to really see a tornado risk out of any of this activity up here, and we're really not going to see much of a wind risk either. There is some lightning occasionally, but that's all going to be cloud to cloud lightning. We're not going to see anything really reaching the ground for the most part out of this particular storm activity. So I do think it's pretty interesting that this particular segment of storms is obviously very elevated. That really gives us an idea that the moisture content further north in parts of northern Mississippi is not very significant. We have very little moisture back up there in northern Mississippi. So that's what it's indicating here, which is, again, pretty interesting stuff. I think that, you know, even looking at the clouds, they actually look kind of cool. But the good news is if you're back up in northern Mississippi, the risk of severe weather is not looking overly significant as of now. And then you can actually see a little flash of lightning there. Let's go over to Pearl, Mississippi. This is the Mississippi EMA. This is actually going to be in Jackson. This is just outside of Jackson. Should pop up here in a second. There you go. So this is over near Jackson, Mississippi right now. We have damaging winds rolling in upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour. There has been a little bit of rotation back up near Canton, Mississippi, but it has not been that significant at this point. We are anticipating damaging winds to roll through Jackson here over the next 20 minutes or so. Bottom right of your screen, again, a intense line of thunderstorms approaching out of the west, which will have the capability of producing damaging winds. So we'll have that on our 3-camera overlay as these storms continue to ramp up here over the next little while. And we also got Brandon Kopic, bottom middle of your screen. Brandon Kopic is currently, you got a location check on him. Kopic is going to be over in Wesson, Mississippi. Let's double check where that is real quick. See if he's anywhere near any of these storms. So he's going to be back over near Hazelhurst and Brookhaven. So he's kind of over here in southwestern Mississippi. The main concern that I have right now for any particular storm when it comes to a tornado risk is this one over near Gloucester. That one has, again, some broad rotation right now. It's also associated with a severe storm that is producing damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour. So there is a chance that we do end up getting some sort of tornado warning on that sometime soon. Even if we don't get a tornado warning, there is rotation there. And, you know, even without the rotation, we still have significant damaging winds that are equivalent to an EF0 type tornado. So definitely a concern there. Also, I want to get Lafayette back on the bottom left. Let's go. Where is Lafayette? Where did I put Lafayette? Did Lafayette disappear? Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm going to put Lafayette bottom left. So Lafayette, Louisiana, you're about to get some damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, which is, again, back down here near I-49 and I-10. That cross-section there, we are starting to see damaging winds along the interstate and very heavy rain, which is leading to low visibility. So probably a good idea to stay off the roadway if you can back over near the interstates. Huge shout out to Leah with the 10 gifted memberships. Put some W's in the chat for Leah. Appreciate the generosity. You got to be gifted membership. Make sure to thank Leah in the chat. We have a fire risk right now. We do have a fire risk. Not sure if we've had, I know we've had at least one fire breakout, and we've had a lot of blowing dust. I actually want to show you guys something which is fascinating. Let's go over to here. Let's go to the infrared imagery right now. This is what the storm system looks like right now in the United States. Notice how we have this big swirl right here around this low pressure system that's back over in Oklahoma and Kansas. We actually have a significant area of blowing dust that is happening around this low pressure system, which is flying everywhere. So being outside is not a great idea because your eyes are going to just start burning essentially when you get hit with that dust. The other thing is too, we are also going to be talking about the potential here for very low visibility on the roadways, which is definitely not something that you want to see. So low visibility could lead to, you know, accidents and stuff like that. So, and a lot of people are not expecting blowing dust this afternoon. This is back over in Lafayette right now in Louisiana. This is on the interstate on I-10. Wind is really picking up right now. This is a storm that's warned for 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds, but I'll be honest, it looks a little bit stronger than that. Let's see if we have any other view coming up here in Lafayette. We'll have many other views in Lafayette coming up. Actually, this is a really good view. This is out in front of the storm right now. In Lafayette, top of your screen, you're going to see the storm coming in. It is very ominous skies right now, back over in Lafayette, Louisiana. Thank you, Italian Sausage, for the $5 super chat. Some strong storms blew through Texas earlier this morning, so I tried seeing if you were live, but you weren't. The problem was I went live late last night, and I really couldn't get up at like 2 hours after I started sleeping. It was just almost impossible. And honestly, I didn't even know we had storms until I woke up this morning at 8 or 9, whatever it was. I think it was around 9. So unfortunately, it is what it is. You know, next time we'll plan better for that sort of severe weather event. But, yeah, not much you can do about it. Not much I can do about it. I just gotta plan better for next time. I honestly anticipated the Oklahoma threat to be a bit more significant during the 9 to 12 o'clock time frame last night. It never really got going. So, I don't think we had any confirmed tornadoes. All right, let's take Brandon off for now. We'll put Lafayette bottom middle of your screen. We got the storms that are starting to roll in now to Jackson. Damaging winds are starting to pick up. We may see an isolated tornado try to spill out of this particular storm system back over near I-55, near Madison and Ridgeland. Again, the tornado threat isn't super high with this segment of storms, but I wouldn't rule out a quick spin up here as this approaches Canton and as well as Jackson. I have a little pocket also near Raymond of around 65-mile-per-hour winds that is being picked up by velocities, and that's going to be moving right into downtown Jackson over the next few minutes. This is the Hinds County. Bottom right is going to be the Jackson camera. That's the one on the north side of Jackson in Hinds. I think it's called Hinds County. And so that's going to be first hit by this strong area of damaging winds. So we'll put that there for now. But as a reminder, our tornado risk, I think, is going to be increasing between 3 and 5 o'clock. I think a strong tornado or two is definitely going to be possible around New Orleans, Baton Rouge, kind of in this general vicinity. I think we're going to have a potential for a couple of strong tornadoes. I honestly think we're at least going to have one discrete cell fire off out in front of this line, if not even maybe 2. So a strong tornado is definitely in play. And we also have plenty of cameras and chasers that are out down here in the deep south, including Corey Gherkin. We have Jordan Hall and a few others. So we'll have all of them here ready to go if anything is going to be happening down here in the deep south. Thank you, Sharman, for the $20 super chat. Appreciate the generosity. Thank you, Maria, for the super chat. I appreciate that. Any word on Middle Tennessee future? I think Middle Tennessee is going to still see a line of thunderstorms tonight. we go over to the future radar. I think we're still gonna have a line of storms tonight. I don't think that's really changed. Oh, the future radar in here. There you go. This is right around 4 to 5 o'clock. Notice how the line continues to remain pretty weak, even through about 4, back over here in western Tennessee. The HRRR is insistent on this line, though, intensifying around and just after sunset tonight, even up into northern Mississippi and even into Tennessee. So if this does end up happening, we are going to be talking about at least a scattered damaging wind risk in Tennessee and also back into parts of Alabama and Mississippi. But I think generally speaking here, this is going to be mostly just a wind threat. I don't anticipate much of a tornado risk this far to the north tonight, and it'll move through areas like Knoxville, Chattanooga, in the Atlanta metro area as we go later into this evening. But again, the threat of severe weather is much lower the further north you go tonight. I still think the further south you are, like down here near the Gulf Coast, I think we're going to end up seeing a discrete supercell or two that produce the potential for a strong tornado. This is your outlook for today. So again, notice how we only have a marginal threat across Tennessee, unless you're back over near Memphis, which honestly, even then, I think the slight risk could be even further south than that with how storms are just elevated up there. Back over near Atlanta, again, the risk even over there is on the lower side of things. We're anticipating this line to be weaker as it approaches the Atlanta metro area around midnight tonight. So the general thinking is that between now and about 9 o'clock will be the most significant time frame for severe weather, mainly in the enhanced risk of severe weather across central and southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, the Florida Panhandle, and also back over into eastern Louisiana. We've had a lot of damage reports coming out of this line. Even if we don't actively have a tornado in progress or a tornado warning, we've had a ton of wind damage reports. All of these black circles that you see here across Louisiana are indicative of damage reports. So we've had plenty of those throughout the day today. Lots of shingles being blown off roofs. Flying trampolines have been a big thing today on tossing trampolines on Tacos Tuesday. So again, it's been a very, very busy afternoon when it comes to that as well. And I only anticipate there being more storm damage reports as we go later into today. Also, I'm not sure what has happened. The radar seems to not be updating. This is about 10 minutes old, which is weird. Is it just anybody else having an issue with their radar not updating? Or is it just me? I might have to refresh. We got strong winds right now moving through Lafayette. This is a live view in Lafayette. We just had a couple curtains of rain and wind come through. Might see that again here in a second. I'm going to try to refresh my radar because I don't know why it's not working. Strong winds right now moving through Lafayette. This is back over in Brozard, which is just south of Lafayette on the cyclone port on radar Omega. Currently nothing too crazy yet. We should see some storms rolling through here in just a few minutes. I'll be keeping a close eye on that. Back over to the 3-cam overlay. Let me get back this on the bottom left. All right, there we go. My radar hasn't updated since 2:26. Well, that's concerning. I don't know if it's just me or it's like everybody. I don't know if it's just the radars in general. Base reflectivity is? Base reflectivity is still behind for me. Actually, it did update for Jackson. This isn't honestly that bad of a look of this line. I mean, it's still pretty solid, even though it's a little bit less resolution. But the wind threat is about to be moving right into downtown Jackson, Mississippi over the next several minutes. Will I be live tomorrow? I'm not entirely sure yet. Again, I think tomorrow's chances of me going live are low. It's going to be a pretty close call, because, I mean, if I go live, it would be after 1. And even then, it does not appear as if it is going to be a significant threat for severe weather. It's going to be kind of an ordinary wind day, I think, with also a couple tornadoes being possible. I still think the threat that we have like right now is a bit more concerning than what tomorrow will end up being. But in case if something does happen, we'll obviously go live. All right, high res has updated now. It is back. This is live back over in Jackson, Mississippi. Damaging wind threat is about to roll right into the town of Jackson. This is an area that has already seen severe weather multiple times over the last couple of months. This is in Hinds County at the Emergency Management Building. Wind is pretty calm for the time being, but it will pick up in intensity here in just a few minutes. Hey, Scott, for the super chat. Sing Frosty the Snowman. I am good. Thank you. Also, we do have over in southeastern or in eastern Louisiana around Baton Rouge, Jordan Hall. This is the first time we've ever had him on the stream. He is back over in eastern Louisiana, which he's kind of in the area where I think a discrete supercell or two will be possible as we go later into the afternoon hours today. But for the time being, things are still, again, relatively quiet right now in eastern Louisiana around Baton Rouge and as well as New Orleans. But I do think in about an hour or so, or even sooner, we're going to start to see a couple storms try to fire up out in front of the line. And if that ends up verifying, the potential for a strong tornado is definitely in play. So I'll be keeping a close eye on him. He'll be bottom middle. And we'll go back to Jackson, Mississippi in a second on the camera. But this is, again, a look at Jackson right now. Significant wind threat is about to be moving right into Jackson, Mississippi. Richland, Florence, Brandon. You should be staying away from windows if you are in any of these areas, as damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour is likely. There was some rotation back up near Canton, but that has definitely been fizzling over the last few minutes. After crossing Interstate 55, there's really not a whole lot of rotation left with that segment of storm activity. Not really seeing a whole lot of rotation right now further south. The destructive severe thunderstorm warning is no longer ongoing. We just have a normal severe thunderstorm warning for 70 mile per hour damaging winds, which is still a considerable threat across eastern Louisiana, just north of Baton Rouge, near Jackson and New Roads, back through Macomb in Mississippi. Give me 1 second. I got to turn off my... All right, I'm back. We don't need the robot vacuum to be coming in during the stream. All right, things are starting to pick up, it looks like, now in Jackson, Mississippi. This is live in Jackson. Bottom right of your screen is the line of storms that's going to be rolling in. The wind should be picking up at any second. So we'll see if it's actually severe levels or not. Most areas in Louisiana have been at severe levels for wind for a while. Same thing with Mississippi. With how sharp a contrast we have of very heavy rain back to almost, very light rain. I do think we're going to have a significant area of wind here over the next couple of minutes moving through Jackson. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit now. You can see the tree swaying at the bottom. It really should only intensify over the next few minutes. Hold on power poles. They are definitely at risk. I mean, this is an area that frequently sees power outages in severe storms. And Jackson honestly has had plenty of severe storms over the last couple of months. I'm pretty sure we've covered Jackson like 3 different times now since the beginning of the year. So, what flavor Snapple is this? Raspberry tea. Oh, the line of storms is pushing through right now. So far, I haven't seen any huge wind gusts. It's been gusty. Definitely wouldn't say we are really looking at any severe wind gusts right now. Thank you, Cassie, for the super chat. Is Louisville, Kentucky going to get a tornado? I don't anticipate tornadoes up in Louisville. Strong winds in Tupelo. Actually, if we go over to Tupelo real quick, I showed you guys this a few minutes ago. I was talking about how elevated the storms are up in Tupelo, Mississippi. It's a little windy. The camera's been shaking a little bit here on one of the has cams up there. But by no means are we talking about like damaging winds or anything like that. Nothing at severe levels right now. Go back to Jackson. So far, Jackson, Mississippi, I mean, we have a very intense line of storms moving through. Definitely have some heavy rain and some wind, but the wind has not been very strong. I mean, that tree at the bottom is like the main thing I've been looking at, and has not been overly windy. Tupalo, thank you. This looks like an ordinary storm, honestly, in Jackson right now. If you look at radar, it looks very different. That's what it looks like on radar. We got a very intense line of thunderstorms moving through, but if you look at the velocities, they've been kind of weakening out here over the last several minutes. We do have some pockets that are being picked up around 40 miles per hour, so we may have some like 40 mile per hour wind gusts mixing in there around Jackson and Brandon, but definitely not. I don't know if we're really talking about severe limits there. Doesn't look like it. Thank you, Ellie, for the 10 months, and as well as Coach Bruce for the 3 months. We are starting to see some storms fire up back over out in front of the line, east of just west of Baton Rouge, east of Lafayette. These are not going to be the ones that produce a potential for a strong tornado. Again, we need to see a storm like out here somewhere try to fire up well in front of the line. If that happens, a tornado threat is definitely going to be in play. Let's go over to the Lafayette camera, or just south of Lafayette, back over near Browsard. This is a line of storms that has been producing damaging winds around 60 miles per hour. We actually saw this about 10 minutes ago on one of the traffic cameras, so this is definitely a storm to watch for. Again, not really rotating by any means, but we'll be producing some damaging winds here in Louisiana near I-10 as we continue to await the increasing tornado risk. Thank you, Lisa, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. When is it supposed to start in Tennessee? I mean, there are going to be storms basically anytime between now and about 12 o'clock tonight. I would say the greatest threat will be from about 5 until 10 in Tennessee. As a reminder, make sure to like the stream and feel free to share the stream with friends and family on, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. We'll be live here probably at least until about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight, maybe even later than that, as long as the severe weather risk is significant enough. We'll be live on the channel, so make sure to share the stream with your friends and family that might be out in front of these storms here in the Deep South. Best way to get the word out about this significant severe weather event. And the outlook for Atlanta? Atlanta's mostly going to be wind. Mostly a wind threat for Atlanta. This is back over in Jackson, Mississippi. And not really much has changed here. We're really just talking about heavy rainfall that has moved into Jackson. Haven't really seen any significant wind. This back over in Pearl, Mississippi, which is just slightly further to the east. If it ends up loading. Alright, we'll wait for that to load. And we have a nice shelf cloud right here over in Browsard, Louisiana. Good indication that we'll be talking about some damaging winds rolling into this area over the next several minutes. As I say that, there is currently no severe thunderstorm warning back over here in Lafayette. So they have gone ahead and ended. They've at least for now let the severe thunderstorm warning for Lafayette expire. The only severe thunderstorm warnings we have now are going to be back between Baton Rouge and also just north of Jackson, Mississippi. Our most significant storms right now are back over north of Baton Rouge, where damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour is currently a threat, moving towards Macomb and Interstate 55. And then back over near Brookhaven and Hazelhurst, mostly a wind threat across this area near I-55. And then same thing back over near Jackson, just some damaging winds around 60 for now. Not really seeing any rotation. Again, really what I think is going to determine the fate of the rest of today is if we actually see discrete cells fire off between now and 5 o'clock in the Deep South, mainly in eastern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. But we are anticipating wind shear and instability to all increase over the next hour and a half. So I would anticipate this tornado risk to increase here pretty soon. There are some crazy dust photos coming out of Dallas-Fort Worth right now. I will see if I can show you guys some of these photos. Give me 1 second. Got blowing dust that is going absolutely crazy in Texas. Try to see if I can find... Okay. Yeah, if I can show you those photos, I'll definitely show you. Also, we had another flying trampoline. This one was in Sanger, Texas this morning. Once again, flying trampolines, probably one of the most common things that goes flying in Texas during severe weather season. So, flying trampoline over there, it was broken. That is, I don't think that was their trampoline either, so. This is back over in Brozard, Louisiana. Wind is beginning to pick up now. This is, again, just outside of Lafayette. Had a little shelf cloud rolling through just a moment ago. But wind is now beginning to pick up. If you remember, back in January, we had snow on the ground here in Lafayette. Yes, I said snow. There was snow on the ground here. There were like 2 cars on the road the entire day. I think it was January, right? It wasn't February. I have terrible memory sometimes, but I think it was like mid to late January, right? I thought that was like the end of January, and then February it started off quiet, then we had the winter storm in the Central Plains. Now, we were talking about the blowing dust. You can almost actually see it over in Abilene, Texas on the cyclone port. Kind of see it. Looks a little dusty in the air out here. And look how strong the winds are. Winds are currently being measured around sustained winds at 30 miles per hour right now in Abilene. It is very windy. And again, we have high winds all across the board in the Great Plains right now. Upwards of 60 miles per hour, even in some spots. And Vega is somewhat similar, around 20 miles per hour. Not as bad there. But, I mean, the winds are just whipping out here. Let's go back over to Brozard. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Simpson, Lawrence, and Jefferson Davis counties in Mississippi. For 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. It's going to be for those near Maggie, west of Collins. This is, again, a live shot near Lafayette, Louisiana. The wind is now picking up. At the same exact time, the wind is also picking up in Pearl, Mississippi. Which I did not mean to change over to it. But the wind is now picking up in Pearl, Mississippi. That's what it looks like in Pearl right now. It's back over near Jackson for reference. I honestly don't even know if this is severe limits. It's hard to tell at this from this angle. From the Jackson, Mississippi camera that we were looking at earlier, it did not look like it was even that severe. So, storms are not really maintaining intensity for right now, but they should be intensifying over the next hour or two. It's back over near Lafayette, Louisiana. Thank you, Axe, for the super chat. Will I be covering the blizzard in Kansas City? Not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. If I'm still live and it's happening, then we will be. This is what tonight is looking like. This is about 5, 6 o'clock. Heavy snow is going to be ramping up back over in Nebraska, Iowa, and Minnesota. Blizzard conditions don't really get going until about 9 to 10 o'clock tonight in Kansas City. So I don't think we're going to be live up until the blizzard, at least in Kansas City. But I know there will be storm chasers out there that'll be covering it. I mean, this one looks like over in Stanton County, Nebraska right now. The winds are very strong already, and it's starting to snow out there. So I'd be anticipating quite a bit of snow. And this is back up in northwestern Iowa. It's an ice rink out here on the lake. That does not look like very thick ice. It has a lot of cracks in it, so definitely not something you want to go into, but... Yeah, I would anticipate the blizzard conditions to not really ramp up until like around or just after midnight tonight for Kansas City. So, and there's a chance that we're here when it like starts, but we won't be covering it in detail. But definitely a good idea to stay off the roadways if you're in those areas. Winds are strong in Dallas. This is from Debbie in Dallas. This is what it looks like in Dallas, Fort Worth. Unbelievable. It literally looks like an apocalypse. This is from the blowing dust back over in Texas. Pretty crazy stuff. Again, this is with high winds, low humidity. This is some of the highest winds that we've had in North Texas in quite a while. And the orientation that we have with this trough that's back up here in the Central Plains, it's basically able to pull a bunch of dust out of here in West Texas and kind of pull it into North Texas. And that's what we're seeing right now across Dallas, Fort Worth, and even parts of Oklahoma. Significant amount of dust that's just being carried and picked up across Texas. So pretty crazy stuff there. And then obviously we have our severe weather right here, a bit of a dry slot in the backside, very high winds, which is going to lead to wildfires. You can actually see some of the wildfires back over in New Mexico, but I'm going to go to live radar show you. We do have I don't know if it'll actually pick up, but we do have a fire that was being picked up by infrared. Don't see it on here actually, so we might not have it on radar. But if I go back to the infrared imagery, look really closely. This little thin little thing here in New Mexico, that is actually a wildfire that began today back over in southeastern New Mexico. Might even have another one right there. So there's a couple. And we are also anticipating a few wildfires to be possible out here in South and West Texas over the next few hours. So very possible that more wildfires spark up and we might even be able to see those on radar. Yeah, crazy stuff over there in North Texas. I don't know what is crazier, the severe weather threat or the dust storm. If I had to say one or the other, it would definitely be the dust. I think the severe weather was a little bit crazy this morning, but that dust is just crazy. It's kind of freaky to look at in Dallas, Fort Worth. This is another view as well. This is a more horizontal view of that dust being all across Dallas, Fort Worth. Again, right here, this is Dallas. Just for reference, that right there is Dallas at the bridge right here. I don't know what the bridge is called, but I don't even know if I've driven on it before. I used to live in Texas. I don't know what it is. But that's Dallas right there in the middle. It just does not look like Texas. It does not look like Dallas. I have never seen Dallas look like that before. Probably happens once in a while, but the winds are just crazy over there. And if we go over to the METAR data, get the wind speed on here, let's check out the wind speeds. And these are wind speeds, they are not wind gusts. They're across the board 30 to 40 miles per hour. So we have 30 to 40 mile per hour winds across the board. And these are, again, not even including wind gust factor. 40 miles per hour back up near Vernon, Texas. The wind gust measured there was 52. The winds are just crazy. Even out in front of this line of storms, too, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we have wind gusts around 20 to 30 miles per hour, some spots near 40. And that is, again, not even from the severe weather. That is literally just from this the environment that we have with this very strong trough that is moving through. If we go to, this is the wind gust map. This is approximately right now. I want to go to south, I think, or central. We could do central. Like, this is what's carrying all that dust. We got 50 to 60 mile per hour winds that are just ripping into Texas and Oklahoma. Pretty fascinating. 70 mile per hour wind gusts even back over in the Texas Panhandle. And then Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, widespread 30 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. Let's check out the power outage map, actually. I am curious how many power outages we might have. We actually, don't we have a camera? I could have sworn we had a camera in Lantana, Texas. Do we still have that? I don't know if I still have that camera. If we have that camera in Lantana, we could probably see the dust that's going all over the place right now. I'm going to see if I can pull that up. Kind of forgot about that. All right, I'm going to see. I don't know if the camera even works, but I'm going to see if it does. All right, well, Lantana does not look like a dust storm right now, but if it does, I'll go to it. Forgot we had that camera over there. All right, back to severe weather. And whatever else I was just about to do. Oh yeah, power outages. This is the power outage map right now. So currently, we have 352,000 people without power in Texas. And this is mostly going to be from wind. Some of this is going to be the severe weather that we had in East Texas this morning. But even back over in Central and West Texas, there are many places without power right now. 364,000 customers are without power, according to poweroutage.us. Oklahoma has 13,000, Louisiana at 27,000, Mississippi even at 25,000, Alabama at 14,000, and Tennessee is at 12,000. And most of this is going to be because of the gusty winds that are out in front of the line of storms. So, pretty interesting. I was watching the storms in my school earlier. It's been crazy today. I'm honestly hoping that this is just like a, quick next couple hours. Hopefully the storms are just mature and they don't do anything crazy. Let's hope. If not, I don't know what to tell you. This morning was crazy enough. Hopefully it doesn't get crazy again. I honestly think, like, again, if it gets crazy, it's going to start to really get crazy between, like, now and 5 o'clock. So, that's what we're going to have to watch out for. A new tornado
warning has been issued.
All right, we now have a tornado warning that has just been issued for Pike, Amite, and Walthall counties in Mississippi. So if you are in this brand new tornado warning, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get into an interior room of your home or building. This is near Liberty and also near Macomb. Rotation is going to be the strongest over Liberty. And again, that is quickly tracking to the northeast. So make sure that you're getting to your safe place immediately if you are in this warning. Brandon Kopic is actually going to be coming up on this. We're going to go ahead and get Brandon Kopic to the... I don't know if he can even go to the bottom. I don't have the right thing for him. Let me get Brandon on here, though. Actually, I can probably get Brandon on here. All right, Brandon. And we'll remove this. Let me just do this. Connor, and then get rid of that. All right, Brandon's bottom right of your screen. He is pretty close to the... He's actually, I think, inside of the tornado warning. If not, he's going to be entering from the north side. Again, from Macomb and Liberty, it's a bit more populated of an area down here in southwestern Mississippi near Liberty. So seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get into an interior room of your home or building if you are in this tornado warning. Let's go here, and let's go to Brandon. Yeah, Brandon right now is in Macomb, Mississippi, so he's pretty much right next to this storm right now. We're going to keep a close eye here on Brandon Kopic, who's also live on YouTube. I have a bit of an important update for those in Oklahoma. We have a couple of mesos that are forming back over north of Tulsa. There, again, is a cold core tornado setup today up here in Oklahoma. And we actually almost had, it looks like, maybe a small tornado try to drop near Veneta. It's going towards Blue Jacket and Welch. So there is actually some activity now popping up here near Miami and Veneta. Again, this is your cold core setup. These storms are going to be potentially able to produce an isolated tornado or two. So we're going to have to watch this closely in northeast Oklahoma and even around Joplin, Pittsburgh, and even near Fayetteville. That'll be something to watch for. So we're going to keep a close eye on that. If you hear a tornado warning go off on the stream, and it's not for Mississippi or Louisiana, and it's for Oklahoma, you'll know why. There's actually stuff that's trying to happen over there. So that is all coming up here over the next few minutes. And this is Brandon Kopic, who's in the tornado warning near Macomb, Mississippi. Brandon's audio is, for some reason, not on. Let me try to see if I can fix that. Give me 1 second. Not sure if I'll be able to. Actually, I can just do this. Alright, Brandon Kopic is... Alright, there we go.
No, that Love's is on the south side of
Hey, Hayden, do SRTs work? Do you know? I'm guessing not, because it's not loading.
Oh, boss. I'm probably gonna go to town, but we might have to end up making it a little bit further south.
Will there be anything in St. Louis tonight? I'm not anticipating much in St. Louis. I think the main concern for the St. Louis area will end up being just some isolated gusty winds, some rain, and that's really about it. So, I wouldn't be that concerned if you're in St. Louis. Just have ways to receive alerts, just in case. Alright, Brandon Kopic should be coming back. I don't know why it's not working bottom left. Oh, here we go. Okay, I got the SRT to work. I don't know if Hayden's here. There we go. Alright, Brandon should be on the bottom left at some point here in the next few seconds. We got Jordan Hall, who is currently... Let me get a location again on Jordan. I think Jordan's still near Baton Rouge. And then, again, Brandon Kopic and Corey Gherkin are both in the vicinity of the Liberty Storm. Which, Brandon is still not loaded. Thank you, Mark, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate the generosity. Alright, I don't know why Brandon isn't working on the... I see Brandon streaming, it's just not polling. Sorry guys, we have technical issues. I swear this happens all the time. This is Jordan Hall. Let's try Corey. I mean, Corey's in the tornado warning right now. He is also approaching Macomb. See if his stream works. Maybe nothing works. Stream just might be chalked. It's nothing's working. No streams are working. Interesting. All right. Well, hopefully it loads at some point. Hey, Jason, for the $10 super chat. You need custom super stickers with Fishnados and flying trampolines. That's actually not a bad idea. We're going to do a Fishnado release at some point. So whenever that happens, we'll end up doing that. This is the latest velocity scan on this storm back over in Liberty and Macomb. An area of rotation right now is right along Highway 24, moving east-northeast. If you are in this warning, again, make sure that you are getting to your safe place. Tornado threat is going to continue here over the next several minutes. I don't know what's going on with all of our cameras. They're like all just broken all of a sudden. Bottom ones work. I don't know why Kopic and whatnot is not working. All right, we got Corey. All right, there we go. Let's just go to Corey, because Corey actually he's on the storm. All right, there we go. So we got Corey Gherkin back. Corey Gherkin is currently on I-55 southbound, going through some construction. He is going towards this storm that is, again, tornado warned as of right now. in southwestern Mississippi. And this is currently our only tornado warning, so we're going to be mostly laser focused on tornado warnings like this one.
I'm not to it yet.
We tried unplugging the stream and plugging it back in. Not sure if that's going to do anything. I really don't know what's going on. I don't know why it wasn't working.
Now I'm getting off on 18. Deciding if I want to do a drone launch.
Brandon Kopic might be using his drone here, or not Brandon Kopic, sorry. Corey Gherkin might be using his drone here in a second.
Lowe's on the other side over here. What's it look like on the west side?
So if he does, that'll be
I come on
pretty
the east side.
Copy, I'm in the left-hand turn lane. I was about to dart over to go right, but I can't do it right now with this car next to me.
Thank you, Unfiltered, for the $5 super chat. What does Cape Girardeau, Missouri look like? I don't think Cape Girardeau is going to see much. There's just going to be some gusty winds, some rain. That's really about it. I don't really anticipate much severe weather over there, to be honest.
This is at least going to have a good view to the west, too, so if we're going to dive south, we've got that option now.
Alright, so we're going to go back to him in a second. Again, he is inside the tornado warning. Back to our 3-cam view, which one camera is currently broken. I'm trying to fix that while we're live. I don't know why it broke. It's overly strange. I think we might just be without Kopic for now. Kopic doesn't have any view of anything in particular right now. I just want to make sure he's on because he is on this tornado warning. But we'll have at least Corey for now. Which is slot. Do that. All right, there we go. All right, Corey's probably going to use a drone in a second. Once his drone is up, we'll go to him. But again, this is the tornado warning in southwest Mississippi. Rotation is currently near Highway 24. It's going to be moving into Macomb, Mississippi over the next several minutes. Back over near Baton Rouge, the threat of severe weather has been going down a little bit over the last hour. We don't have any severe weather between the Gulf Coast through Baton Rouge as of right now. But back over near Jackson and New Roads, we still have frequent lightning and damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour being a possibility. Again, these storms will continue to move northeast as this line penetrates across most of eastern Louisiana. And then back over near Jackson right now, the threat of severe weather is still there. We still have a chance for damaging winds around 60 miles per hour, but generally speaking, this line of storms has been weakening over the last hour or so. And then storms back up into Tennessee and northern Mississippi are very weak right now, but I do think there will be a window of opportunity for this to intensify as we go later into the afternoon hours. So that'll be something to keep a close eye to as we go later into the afternoon. All right, I'm going to try this. Or do that, and then this. Try to just reboot everything and see if that works. Oh, there we go. Wow. All right, well, Brandon's now there. That took way more. I literally just had to close out of something and open it back up. All right, well, Brandon's there now. They're both in the same place, but I'm just waiting to see if Corey uses his drone here, and if he does, we'll have a better view of this storm that's currently tornado warned. The strongest area of rotation as of right now is going to be over Liberty, moving towards Macomb in Mississippi. Give you some information about Macomb here in just a second. Yeah, who would have thunk? Turning things off and on actually fixes things. Sometimes. Winds are starting to get strong in Georgia. Yeah, again, that's not even the severe weather. That is just simply the storms, the entire storm system that we have across the board.
South or east?
Brandon Kopic just said there's a possible CC drop over Liberty. I thought Corey does have something. Why is this delayed? And Brandon's gone again. All right, we are just continuing to have issues. I don't see anything clear on radar that would indicate a debris signature. Right now, it's just a lot of lightning. Let's go back over to Corey.
I wouldn't really count.
Corey's currently looking at the storm in Liberty. Stay on him for a second.
That's probably radar flutter, actually. CG just
That's live. It was a little bit behind, but that's live now.
Well, what do you think? You think we should ride it out in town, or?
Kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, it doesn't look like it's
Okay, I see now.
not even close
Okay.
to doing anything. So
There's an actual error happening.
All right, Corey, we are about 30 seconds out of our break, and then Ian's going to bring you in about 2, so 2 minutes out.
copy that.
Tornado warning has just been updated. Still radar indicated for the time being. In Pike, Amite, and Walthall counties in Mississippi.
Channel 2.
And this is live with Corey Gherkin, who is inside of this tornado warning.
No, Andy, I didn't even notice it yesterday. Dio actually said something. I was like, whoa, when did that happen?
How'd school go this year? I'm still in school. It has not ended. I'm still in school. Got a few more months left and then I'm done.
10-4. Roger.
Once this starts to catch us,
Actually, I only got a couple more months and then I'm done.
do you want to just shoot southeast on 98 and get back out ahead of it, or do you think we should just go south and see if anything else is going to form?
Kind of thinking south.
Alright, cool. Alright. Sorry, guys. I've been doing technical stuff. We had a bunch of issues on the back end with these cameras. I'm not sure if Brandon's going to be fixed, but
Yeah,
he's got everything else fixed for now.
Warning for is going to
But
be
Brandon and
right
Corey are in
around
the same
here. I
place, so
might-
it's not a big deal. They're both on this
wondering if
tornado
there's
warning near
anywhere else we
Macomb,
can go
Mississippi.
sit when the winds
Which,
are
by the way,
just
if you're in
gonna start
Macomb,
ripping,
some of the
that'll be
areas
good.
that are in the track of this possible tornado include the Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center, the Macomb High School, the Edgewood Mall, Macomb Railroad Museum, the Dinner Bell, El Dorado Mexican Restaurant, PJ's Coffee, McDonald's, Walmart Supercenter, and the Macomb City Hall are in the track of a possible tornado, at least damaging winds. So make sure that you're staying away from windows if you are in this tornado warning on the lowest floor possible. Obviously, I-55 is going to be in the track of this over the next few minutes. And Kirkville, Macomb, Summit, Johnston Station, and eventually going towards the Sartonville area here in southwestern Mississippi. And for right now, I'm not seeing any rotation in Louisiana. And then back up near Jackson, it has been mostly a wind threat. We actually do have a wind damage report that has come out of Brandon, Mississippi, of a 70-mile-per-hour wind gust measured with an anemometer, intersection of Highway 18 and Highway 80. So we have had some high winds reported back over there near Jackson, Mississippi here as of recently. Let's go back over to Corey Gherkin.
Northeast Mississippi.
And Corey Gherkin is currently on the tornado warning cell near Macomb. So we're staying with him for now.
120 miles an hour.
He is right next to the interstate, and the rotation is about a couple of miles to his west, so we'll see if we see anything here over the next few minutes. This is, again, the only active tornado warning as of right now.
Nice.
National Weather Service confirmed an EF1 tornado in Irving, Texas this morning. Thank you for the report.
Did you poke it?
I will definitely, I'm going to look into that. The damage assessment toolkit, which shows a lot of the damage tracks and stuff, we'll definitely take a look at too.
Got really good eyes on it, but it's approaching the highway now, but it's also gotten swallowed up by another storm to the south, so I'm going to have to book it east, I think. And
as of now, we have 5 severe thunderstorm warnings. We do have 1 tornado warning, and again, the only one that we have right now is the one that we are looking at here on the on Corey Gherkin's end in Summit, Mississippi. And as well as Macomb.
Corey, Ian's about to bring you in.
Eventually, this will be going towards Ruth and Monticello, Mississippi. Hey, Sandy, for the super chat. I think Tennessee tonight, again, is mostly going to be isolated damaging winds, very low tornado risk. It's mostly going to be middle, late afternoon, early to mid-evening. I think the peak of it will really be from like 5 until 10. We'll go through the future radar here soon. Thank you, David, for becoming a member.
Well, guys, we're about to get whacked. Again.
A good flash of lightning right there. Still no signs of anything quite yet. The radar, again, is not updating very frequently. The radar's been kind of bugged.
CG's going nuts. Good Lord!
But the main area of rotation is just off to their west right now. It's going to be right in this area, bottom right of your screen, near Thompson, which is approximately 5 to 6 miles to the west of Summit. It'll be approaching over the next 5 minutes or so.
Storm approaching us, but there is like really no defined couplet or nothing.
Our latest radar scan is now coming in.
Let's show you some live images coming in from our exclusive Fox Weather Storm Tracker, Corey Gherkin.
And don't forget to share the stream with friends and family on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform you have friends and family on. Get the word out about the severe weather event happening here in the Deep South. And we'll be live here for the next few hours at least, covering the severe weather threat. It's always a good idea to make sure you're subscribed to the channel.
What's your thoughts with that storm moving closer to Macomb?
Hey, Roblox for the super chat. Am I getting a tornado in Middletown, Delaware? I'm in the zone tomorrow. It's impossible to predict if a single city is going to see a tornado 24 hours in advance. But I mean, in general, I would say there is definitely a chance for a tornado there. So it's a low chance for everybody, essentially, in Delaware, Maryland. But there's probably going to at least be one tornado somewhere up there tomorrow. But even if we get a tornado, the environment isn't really that favorable for strong tornadoes.
Now it seems like we got our lightning back.
Yeah, so that could be an indicator. We always talk doesn't make a storm severe, but it can be an indicator of intensity. At least
I do want to point this out before we're going to go back to Corey in a second. But if you look at Macomb right now, this is from the radar site further north in Jackson. It actually has very strong rotation aloft, which is a sign that we at least have a strong area of low-level rotation. It might not be reaching the ground yet, but there's definitely strong rotation with this storm. So we need to watch this very closely near Macomb over the next several minutes.
Yeah, and that's how, it's...
The rotation is definitely strong aloft. Near the ground level, I don't think we have a tornado right now, but we definitely could get one at any time if that rotation continues. Thank you, David, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities.
So what's the plan with time? I do think that most folks are keying in on
another big flash of lightning.
Louisiana, maybe extreme southern parts of Mississippi. Perhaps this is a sign of the concern over the next few hours for the possibility of...
Oh, is Corey doing a news interview right now?
Clearly, we can see it in real time.
Is it loud? Okay, I'll turn it down.
In the short term, are you going to keep moving south?
Yeah, I believe we're going to keep going south. As we bump south just a little bit here, it jumped up a little bit. You can tell it's a little bit more humid out, so it's believe that's the plan. The storm's the line for like the southwest seems a little more intriguing with like the shapes, and it seems like it's trying to get a little bit more notches on it.
I do want to see if Brandon is working again. It doesn't look like it. I think both Corey and Brandon's links just died. I'm gonna see. Oh wait, is that Brandon? We have Brandon now. This is Brandon's view. He's also on this tornado warn cell. Same thing with Corey. Both in a parking lot right now. Hey Chase, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. I'm gonna go back to Corey, which is this one. They're both in the same spot. Corey is slightly more angled up.
Buckle up, guys!
Odds are definitely very ominous right now here in Macomb and Summit. If you are just tuning in, this is again a tornado warning in southwestern Mississippi. Rotation is quite strong aloft. Haven't seen anything get to the ground here yet. The tornado remains possible here as the storm continues to move east-northeast at about 55 miles per hour. Very fast-moving storm. Long term, it'll be going towards Bassfield and just north of Columbia.
God, it's like eerily calm on here.
Storm's gonna be overhead of them in here in just a couple minutes. And our strongest area of rotation right now is gonna be right over Macomb on the south side of Summit. Wind and rain is definitely picking up now. What was the highest wind? Highest recorded wind from what, the entire day? Or just like a single storm? Well, it looks like a little bit of scud there on the very far right of the screen. It's kind of hanging down. Brandon has a little bit clearer of a view of that. He's looking more at it. On the right side, you kind of see some of the scud hanging down. It's not necessarily anything that's super concerning. Corey's now looking at it.
Which windshield wiper was they on?
Oh, they're sitting at a Lowe's. Look at that. I didn't even know where they were. They are at a Lowe's. Very ominous skies. Wind is picking up now. Here in Macomb and Summit in Mississippi. This stream is not brought to you by Lowe's, just for reference. Want to throw that out there?
No, I haven't decided yet. I'm still kind of thinking south.
What do you think? You think we should go look at east and try and stick with this part of the line, or do you think?
Why are people saying it's John Cena's fault? What does that even mean?
Honestly, diving south towards I-10.
Wind's definitely strong right now. If we had a tornado, it'd be back in front of him somewhere.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Thank you, Forrester, for becoming a member. Welcome to Velocities.
all these prefrontals ahead of this too. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it looks like just to the south over the border, in Louisiana, it looks like they're trying to get some inflow notches on the storms down there, so maybe by the time we get down there, they'll mature. I'm just torn as to whether or not I want to head towards...
What are the chances of a rain-wrapped tornado in these conditions? It's definitely possible with a storm like this. I don't think we have a rain-wrapped tornado, but it's very possible that we would get one like that with a storm like this, because we have so much precipitation out there wrapping around these storms. It makes it a very dangerous environment when it comes to being able to see a tornado with all the rain that's kind of mixing around. Like, if we go to live radar right now, you'll notice that we have all this rain here that is all over the place that's around this storm. So the rotation is mainly down in here near Macomb. It's now over Macomb, but it, you know, initially a few minutes ago was right over here. You got all this rain kind of wrapping around, so it can basically wrap, you know, a tornado in rain, essentially. So that makes it pretty dangerous. NOAA down. I have no clue what is going on. The radars are only updating like every 10 minutes. I'm not sure if that is an outage or it's literally just on my end. I have no clue. But the radars have been very slow to update for all these radar sites. I think there's just an issue across the board for my stream, because I can't even get my cameras to like go in the right places. I have no clue what's going on. Very strange. Just on your end? Okay, well, that's good to know. I want to like go to Jordan Hall, but I can't. It's like just not working. Love your streams, appreciate that. Sorry, I'm still sick, by the way, so I'm trying to battle through it. Thank you, Hunter, for the super chat. What happens if two storms collide? If two storms, we've seen that happen a lot. Like, I mean, we had that happen in Kansas last year, where essentially like we had an outflow boundary and a storm collide, and that storm went on to produce a tornado. We also have had storms, you know, merge with each other. That's like the most common thing. If that ever happens, like, it can increase the tornado threat quite a bit if we have the right environment. So. All right, let me try this again. They have just updated the tornado warning. It no longer includes in Mike County. It's only in Pike and Walthall counties. Thank you, Joe Hoff, for the super chat. Watched you last night when my phone died, or my phone died with your stream going. Nice. It's always a good idea to have your phones charged before severe weather, including our live streams. Appreciate the super chat. Also, thank you, Philip, for the $10 super chat. Appreciate that. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out this whole technical thing because it's actually kind of bugging me. I don't know why we can't get cameras to work right now. Like, we have a few cameras up, but those are the only ones working. Give me, like, 1 second. I'm going to try to do something. I'm just going to turn off the radar for 1 second. I don't want to have to end the stream and fix this. So, I'm just trying to fix this issue so we don't have to keep dealing with it in the stream. Please bear with me here. I'm trying to figure out what the issue is. I think I know the issue. I just need to find it. I don't know what the issue is. I thought I knew the issue. I don't know what it is. I'll try this one more time. I'm gonna try that again. Oh, my computer just froze. There we go. Thank you, Jared, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. I guess we're just gonna have to go old school because I, for some reason, can't get to work. Alright, so we'll just do this. We'll have Brandon Kopic bottom right. We'll stay on this overlay for now until I can find a fix to it. I can manually do cameras. It's just for some reason, like I don't know why we can't get the camera system to work. It's just broken right now. Thank you, Joe Hoff, for the super chat. It's okay. I'm in Ohio. The storms didn't hit me. I was watching. Just interesting. Yeah, Ohio hasn't had many storms recently, but I think late March, early April is going to get pretty active up there. We do have some more damage reports coming out from the storms that have been rolling through southwestern Mississippi. We have a couple of trees down reported in Auburn, Mississippi. We also have a damage report east of Route 98 near Boone, Mississippi, also of a couple of trees down. And then we also have trees down in town, back over in Fayette, Mississippi. So plenty of trees down right now across southwestern Mississippi. Aside from that, that's really the only damage reports we've had in the last hour. We also did have one of some shingles blown off and 1-inch tree limbs broken in Lafayette County in Louisiana. And the storms right now, just to the south and east of Lafayette, are beginning to look a little bit more interesting. Starting to get a little bit more rotation on these as they continue to move east-northeast. So, still watching. Also, just saw a report that the storm near Veneta in Oklahoma, in this cold core tornado setup, this one right here, was producing a funnel cloud for about 10 minutes. I'm going to see if I can... I don't know if I can show you guys a photo. Don't think I can, but I'm going to retweet it on a photo at MaxVelocityWX. But this storm right here apparently had a sustained funnel cloud for 10 minutes and did not produce a tornado in northeastern Oklahoma. So that's pretty wild. We do have a potential again for an isolated tornado or two in this area this afternoon. This is the severe weather outlook for the rest of today. A 2% tornado risk is in place in southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma, and southeast Kansas, with a couple of tornadoes being a possibility. And again, it is a quote-unquote cold core setup that we have in place in this region. Thank you, Louisiana, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. As a reminder, our significant tornado risk is mainly going to be focused here across the Gulf Coast and also across central southern Mississippi and southern Alabama for the next several hours. Again, so far, things have been pretty tame. We are approaching 4 o'clock, and things are still relatively tame for right now. But I definitely think that we're going to start to see this activity pick up a little bit more over the next hour. Only tornado warning for right now is back over near Macomb. This is over in Princeton, Texas, from Jose, I think it is. It is very dusty. If you have not already seen, that is just one photo. This was the more clear one from Debbie in North Texas. This is in the this is literally in Dallas as of about an hour ago. The entire city skyline here was basically almost not even being able to be visible because of all the dust that we've had in the air. Again, tons of dust right now is wrapping around this big storm system in the central and southern plains. This right here is your trough over Oklahoma and Kansas. All of the dust that is spinning around that low pressure system moved into North Texas, and that patch of dust is now moving into southeast Oklahoma and northeastern Texas. So if you're back over near Texarkana, and also back near Fort Smith in Arkansas, pretty good chance you're going to see some dust here pretty soon. Here are your thunderstorms that are all, producing the threat of severe weather. And then we've also had some snow beginning to ramp up back over in parts of Kansas, Nebraska, and also back through the upper Midwest. So pretty interesting stuff there. Thank you, Arizona, for the super chat. It's also very windy out there, obviously. Tennessee is very windy. Many areas are windy, not just Tennessee. Basically anywhere east of the Rocky Mountains has some level of strong winds happening either today or tomorrow, which is elevating the fire risk and is also elevating blowing dust happening for many areas in Texas. Seeing dust near Tyler, Texas now? Yeah, that's going to be definitely happening over even near Tyler. We do have an interesting storm right here near Clinton that has been developing. Interesting storm system here, just south and east of Clinton. Maybe a little bit of rotation trying to develop there. Baton Rouge right now is mainly wind. This is the latest radar scan. So again, line of storms moving into Baton Rouge right now. Damaging winds being the main concern. Might have some cameras coming up in Baton Rouge at some point. Nothing severe, though, as of right now in Louisiana, even though I do think that one near Clinton might try to produce a tornado here in the next 20 minutes. It's trying to come together right now. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. Hey, Jason, for the super chat, is there any way you can tap into personal weather stations? I know mine feeds Weather Underground. I don't know if I can. I would probably have to get like some sort of software for that. I'm not sure if I really have much of a... I don't know if I can really use it, but maybe in the future. This tornado season, again, I think is going to be pretty crazy. I think it's going to be around the intensity of last year. Maybe not nearly as intense, but it's going to be up there. It's going to be up there in terms of the intensity. I think we're going to have not the same amount of tornadoes, but we should be around, if I were to give a number, I'd say like somewhere between 1,500 to 1,700 tornadoes. I think that's the amount that we're going to have this year, including the ones we've already had, which is around 100, I think, now. This is a satellite view of the blowing dust across Texas. You can actually see it's moving now towards San Antonio, Austin, Waco, seeing that dust. It's all blowing in here across Texas. It's now out of Dallas-Fort Worth. So if you're in Dallas-Fort Worth, at least for right now, there isn't any thick dust in the area. But that dust is all moving down to the southeast. Honestly, Houston, you might be next in track for some dust. Not gonna lie. I mean, Houston might just be the next place that gets some dust in your area. Got a little bit of an incident right now back over in Baton Rouge. I don't know if our camera system is even working. I'll give it a try, though. See if it works. This is in Baton Rouge. If I, for some reason, cannot get it up, I'll try to just pull up manually. It looks like it's still broken. One second, I'll see if I can find it. Camera, is that number 96? This is one of the views of this, but this is in Baton Rouge right now. We do have some significant traffic heading into town, and we also have storms approaching out of the west. So it makes it a little bit more dangerous, but this is what it looks like right now. Heading into Baton Rouge, I'm guessing this is probably typical for rush hour. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm guessing it's typical for rush hour, but a lot of traffic right now in Baton Rouge. It's mainly across the bridge on the south side of Baton Rouge. It actually is more significant here. This is where we're looking. Back over near Gross Tate, Louisiana. This is actually where we have a storm rolling through right now. So this is a live view. We have a strong storm that's moving through the west side here of Baton Rouge. Where is this camera going? Holy cow, this guy just swung the camera 360 or 180. But yeah, the traffic looks significant here. I mean, we got significant traffic along with a strong storm rolling through. Actually see the wind picking up on the bottom of your screen here. And you also see the tree swaying on the left. Yeah, plenty of traffic here. It's all red. That might be an accident or something because it's going the other direction. This is a little bit further back over to the east, which we're starting to see the strong storms roll in right now. Thank you, Ashley, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, Michaela, for the 8 months. All right, we'll go back to live radar. Just thought that was interesting. I saw that on one of the cameras. Baton Rouge. I mean, there's literally no warnings right now in any part of Louisiana. We have been watching a couple storms near Clinton to try to do something, but they've been pretty minimal so far. Again, the concern really is over the next hour or two, there could be a discrete cell or two that fire up out here in eastern Louisiana or even southern Mississippi. And if we end up getting something in this environment, again, a strong tornado's in play. It's a big if. I don't know if it's actually going to happen. Nobody really does, but it is a possibility. Also, our tornado warnings are now all done for right now. The only tornado warning that we've had so far in the stream has now come to an end, the one near Macomb. So we are back down now to 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, both of which are in Mississippi. It has been very, very quiet so far, I've got to say. Like this morning was active. After that, it was really quiet after that. But we're still monitoring that little cold core tornado setup back up in northeast Oklahoma. We did have a funnel cloud for a while near Veneta, and we still have a little bit of rotation actually moving towards Miami and Oklahoma. That'll be something to watch for. A little bit of rotation. Doesn't take a whole lot to get a funnel cloud in this setup. All these storms currently are moving due north, or a little bit more to the northeast actually. Storms will be approaching Joplin in the next hour or so. And then if we go a little further to the north, let's go over to the MRMS radar. This is kind of the regional radar. Snow is currently falling across parts of Nebraska and Kansas. Again, blizzard conditions will be ramping up over the next few hours. This is actually what it looks like right now up in Stanton County, Nebraska. A little bit of snow falling. The lakes are also iced over. It is very windy, though. Very, very windy. And it's also now beginning to snow back over in northwestern Iowa. Not windy yet in northwest Iowa right now, but we're only a few hours away from blizzard conditions kicking in. As a reminder for today's severe weather, or not severe weather, but our general weather setup for today, we have a bunch of different watches and warnings in effect. It's basically a massive map of watches and warnings. I mean, this has grown exponentially throughout the day even today. We have blizzard warnings in effect in the red. We have high wind warnings in effect out in the darker kind of orange colors there in the Central Plains. So all these are high wind warnings. We have wind advisories in effect all across the gray and tan boxes. We have red flag warnings in effect, and even in parts of Kentucky today, and also across South and West Texas. Almost every state has something crazy happening. Almost every state, not every state, but almost every state has something crazy happening here in early March. It's pretty difficult to get almost all of these warnings in one single day, or even in one single like picture. Like it's hard to get hurricane warnings and stuff in addition to all of this other stuff happening, but we got plenty of warnings and whatnot out there. It's a mix of everything. We got convective, we got flooding, we got non-precipitation, and winter watches and warnings. So pretty interesting. Thank you, Amelia, for the $5 super chat. I honestly don't think we're going to see anything too crazy over in Missouri. Just an isolated tornado threat in southwest Missouri. It's really the main concern for tonight. All right. Is the rain going to hold out for the Carolinas? There's definitely rain coming to the Carolinas. There will definitely be rain over there. Is this a derecho? No. Highly doubt this will be end up being classified as a derecho. We would legitimately have to have so many things for this to be a derecho. I don't think we had enough. Like, we had some pretty numerous wind damage across Louisiana and even Texas, but I don't think it was enough. Oh, actually, one thing I want to show you guys. So we did have a confirmed tornado in Irving, Texas this morning. And we do have now the damage assessment that has come out from the National Weather Service. And so for those that are kind of curious on what happened this morning, again, I was not able to be live. I was literally sleeping when this happened. But this is some of the damage over in Irving. To some buildings in the area. Significant tornado damage. This actually looks like, let me get some clarification here, but this looks like some sort of like daycare or something. Anybody know what this is? I think it's a daycare, something like that, or maybe a school. It's the Learning Tree Academy. So we had some significant damage there from this Irving, Texas tornado. While we're talking about tornado, we now have a new tornado warning that has been issued. This tornado warning will include Marion, Lawrence, and Jefferson Davis counties in Mississippi. You are in this tornado warning, seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get to an interior room of your home or building. The main area of rotation right now is going to be near Highway 44, and moving to the east-northeast, going towards Bassfield and Prentice. That is currently tracking to the east-northeast. This is the storm that literally just went through Macomb for reference. Rotation's definitely intensifying again, and we'll be going towards Bassfield, Prentice, and Carson. So again, seek shelter if you are in this warning. Prentice is going to be the more populated area here. Bassfield, Carson, two more of the towns that are inside of this tornado warning. We do have a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center that has just come out. First off, I don't know what's going on with Corey. I'm going to swap him out real quick. It looks like he's driving into the sun. Put Brandon down there. Also, real quickly, back over in Franklin, Louisiana. Oh, where Franklin is first. Back over near Franklin, Louisiana. This is near the coastal region. We do have rotation that is ramping up right now back over near Franklin. That is going to be back up on the north side. It's going to be kind of over Franklin right now. The rotation's starting to intensify there. There is a possibility that a tornado warning will get issued on that here pretty soon, as the rotation is beginning to intensify. So that is something else to be watching for. But we do have a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. This is going to be regarding a downstream tornado watch, which the Storm Prediction Center has a high likelihood of issuing a new tornado watch in the next couple of hours back over in central southern Alabama and into the Florida Panhandle. This is going to be for a threat of damaging winds and embedded tornadoes in this line of thunderstorms. And if we, for some reason, do get a discrete sellout in front of that, there will also be a chance for an isolated tornado risk. Again, damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour is the main concern here as well. They still have the tornado maximum probabilities in a strong tornado ballpark, which again is around EF2 category. They have also just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for Mendenhall and Maggie. Mendenhall and Maggie are now included in a new tornado warning. Or sorry, severe thunderstorm warning. Not tornado warning. Should have another radar scan here in a second. And if we have a tornado on this storm, it would be over just south of Monticello, going towards Bassfield. We have another radar scan at any moment on the velocities. Still a little behind. That rotation should be right over 587, though, here in a couple minutes. Let's go back to... I'm going to stay on the one cam view. Ray Gergen's thing hasn't fixed yet. So some of the areas... Oh, it didn't work. Never mind. Give me 1 second. Trying to get some location callouts for Prentice, and my bot is broken. Everything's breaking on today's stream. The morning stream, we'd have, like, no issues. This afternoon stream, all the cameras are just not going to where we need them to go. And then we have, like, literally... I mean, everything's just breaking today. It's cooked. This entire stream got cooked. All of our camera system broke, and now I can't even get the correct location callouts because I don't even know what's going on. Everything's over. I think after this stream, I'm honestly going to get another computer just so we can handle a bunch of tabs on one thing. And that way I can, like, I don't know. I think what's going to happen is we're literally just going to get another computer and handle a bunch of other stuff on one of those. It'll be expensive, but I want to be able to have the highest quality live streams possible, and a lot of the issues, I think, are stemming from having everything on one computer. Thank you, Lotus, for the $20 super chat. Are the storms mostly in the south, or is the chance of them reaching the mid-Atlantic? We are going to have severe weather tomorrow. Again, that's going to be back over in the mid-Atlantic. Here's your risk of severe weather for tomorrow. An enhanced risk of severe weather is in place for Virginia Beach, Greenville, Jacksonville, back through Wilmington, near Columbia. There will be a chance here for a few tornadoes in addition to significant damaging winds, and really anywhere in the marginal or slight risk. We also have a risk here of severe weather. Damaging winds being the main concern. A couple of tornadoes maybe back up here in Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. And then damaging winds being the main concern back into Florida. We definitely have multiple ways to receive alerts, have a tornado action plan ready to go just in case things get a little bit crazy tomorrow. Which they honestly probably will be at some point. I think there will be a brief period where it gets a little crazy. I'm not sure if we'll be live again tomorrow, but just in case we do go live tomorrow, make sure to hit the bell icon down below so you're notified if we do go live. We'll have a video, I think, tomorrow morning, no matter what. I think. I don't know. We'll probably have a video hopefully tomorrow morning. If we don't for some reason, then, you know, just make sure you have ways to receive warnings. And again, if we do end up going live tomorrow, it would not be at least until sometime around like 1 or 2 p.m. in the afternoon in Eastern time. Thank you, Joe Hoff, for the super chat. Yeah, stream's just been broken today. This morning wasn't too bad. This afternoon is just falling apart. I'll have another radar scan here in a couple minutes. Hey, Jason, for the super chat, outlook for Mobile, Alabama tonight. I think Mobile is going to start to see some storms around 6 to 10 o'clock. Maybe not 6 to 10. I'd say more like 7 to 10. The storms are still far back to your west, but mainly a wind risk back over in Mobile. Tornado threat is also going to be possible there. New York has an isolated wind risk. Isolated wind risk tomorrow. I'm not anticipating much of a tornado risk in that area. You should build a PC. That's the plan. I mean, if we get another computer, it'll just be built. It's the only way it would work. If we build it. That's how we've been doing it recently. The last like year, the main rig that we have here is just built. I do have a laptop that I do have, but it's not built. Sorry guys, I don't know why we don't have it on tornado warning on this. Just a little quick update on the cold core tornado setup back up in Arkansas and actually many states now. It's going to be for Oklahoma, Arkansas, and as well as Missouri. We do have multiple storms right now that are attempting to rotate. Nothing that really stands out to me as if we're about to see a tornado with any of this activity. But we do have some broad rotation with some of these storms. If they are able to mature, a tornado is still in play as these storms continue to move northeast. And we got some storms right now around Joplin, and we also have some storms back over now near Fort Smith that are really, for the most part, staying mature. The special weather statements are for wind gusts, so nothing tornadic-wise with that storm activity. I think across the board here in this area, we're still mainly talking about a isolated damaging wind risk this evening, but there could be, again, a tornado or two between now and about 10 o'clock. It's a long time frame, but again, the tornado threat here, we're not talking about like a strong tornado threat. It would be really just an isolated brief tornado. We also have a snow squall warning. Snow squall warning is in effect near Grand Island and Hastings in Nebraska right now, and you don't see this very often. But these are essentially severe thunderstorms, but for snow. Intense bursts of heavy snow, gusty winds leading to blowing snow and rapidly falling visibility. Wind gusts greater than 50 miles per hour can knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecured objects. So it's basically going to look a little bit like this back up in Stanton, Nebraska, but the snow is even heavier. I'm not seeing any lightning, so no thunder snow here. Then you need to burn for the $10 super chat. Yeah, I absolutely control the weather, guys. It's the cheese curds. I mean, that's literally what controls it. I want to see. Can we put dust on this? This is kind of cool. This is the dust map in Texas. All that yellow is the dust. That is moving across Texas right now. The satellite is picking this up. It's mostly, again, in Central and South Texas. It's moving through San Antonio and Austin right now. If you guys are in San Antonio, Austin, or really anywhere in Texas right now, and you have any photos of this dust event that's happening, feel free to send them to me on Facebook or Twitter, which are both at Max Velocity WX. Definitely curious to see them. See also the severe weather setup here. Very impressive storms right now across the line. Dry slot on the back side. Low pressure system spinning right there. Cold core tornado setup right here. Snow falling up here. So basically everything's happening at once. High winds over here. High winds basically everywhere, but kind of see all that stuff here on the both on the satellite and the dust satellite. Thank you, Christy, for the super chat. The wind is in Paris is fierce. Are you talking about France? Hey, Thondra for the super chat. What time frame for the severe weather in Jacksonville Beach tomorrow? Should be mostly late morning and early afternoon tomorrow. Oh, Paris, Texas? Oh, sorry. I didn't know what you were talking about. I thought it said like France at the end. Actually, I have a couple of strong storms just over into Oklahoma right now. But that's not really what's causing the high winds. Anything, Angelica, for the super chat. Again, make sure to watch my video today. It has all the details that you need to know about tomorrow's severe weather setup. I'll go over it occasionally, but I'm not going to go over it every like 3 minutes. I've talked a lot about it already. Still have a tornado warning in effect here south of Monticello, near Prentice and Bassfield. Still watching the storm closely. Rotation is hard to see right now, but I mean it's going to be embedded in this activity here near 587, approaching Bassfield and Prentice over the next several minutes. Okay. Hey, Waco for the super chat. What causes high winds? I mean, one of the biggest things with this severe, or not severe weather setup, this storm system that we have is, if I go to, let's see, where's a good radar? This right here. One of the biggest giveaways, essentially, with a storm like this is how tight the isobars are. Essentially, the pressure is dropping substantially or increasing substantially, depending on where you are. So all these very tight isobars that you see here, that is all where the winds are really high. Notice how there's kind of a break here in like Arkansas, for example. It's not nearly as windy in those areas. Over here, we have very tight isobars. That's high winds out in front of the line of thunderstorms. So when you see that, that's really what we're talking about when we have high winds that are happening. That's really the best way to look at it. There is a report of a low wall cloud near Kentwood right now. So back over near Kentwood in Louisiana, there is a report of a wall cloud that is attempting to lower to the ground. I'm not seeing a whole lot on radar right now when it comes to rotation, but maybe a little bit there over the west side of Kentwood near I-55. So there's a little bit of something there. And then Jordan Hall, I'm going to try to pull up here in a minute, but Jordan Hall is kind of in this area. Let me see if I can get him on here somehow. to get him on here. It's way too big. Alright, Jordan Hall is going to be bottom of your screen. He's currently back over on the tornado warning right now. I'm going to try to see if I can go full cam to him. Give me 1 second here. He's on the actual tornado warning. I believe. Somewhere up there. I don't know why his location tracker is like glitching here. Yeah, he's on this northern tornado warning. I'm going to try to get him full cam here in a second. Stay here for a second. But Jordan Hall is on that tornado warning near Monticello right now. Bottom middle of your screen. I'm actively trying to see if I can actually get him on the screen on the full cam view. This should work. Okay, so this is Jordan Hall, who is on the tornado warning right now. That is back over again near Bassfield. So this is his current positioning. Southwest of Collins. So yeah, Jordan's on this tornado warning. We're gonna stay with him here for a second. His audio's really loud, I think. Alright, it should be fixed. Sorry guys. Our entire camera system's basically broken right now, so I'm just trying to manually do stuff. It's been a train wreck in this stream. We rely on a camera software and it decided to break when we went live. I can't find Jordan Hall on YouTube. I don't think he's live on YouTube today. He is live for... I think he's live for My Radar and Severe Studios. Add that to his thing. Where is Reed? He is not chasing today. I was correct earlier. So many people corrected me, but no, he is not chasing today. He wasn't able to make it out. Is this live? This is live. And this is Jordan Hall, who is currently back over on the Bassfield tornado warning south of Prentice. For reference, some of the areas that are in the track of this particular storm, I'm just going to go back to full screen for now. Some of the areas that are in the track of this include, again, Prentice, Mississippi, which apparently the population is 911 people. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but if it is, that is the population. It looks like a slightly bigger town on the map, so I could be mistaken, though. So just under 1,000 people in that specific town. Some of the food locations in that area include the Subway, Sonic Drive-In, Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen, the Junction Deli, Huddle House, Wendy's Place, Dairy Queen are kind of in this general vicinity, as well as the Prentice Pawn Shop, Hardware Supply, Walgreens, CVS Pharmacy, all kind of along this 84 stretch. So those are some of the locations included in this tornado warning. Go back to Jordan, who's on this tornado warning. Sirens are very loud. I can't hear what's going on. Guys, we have so many issues on this stream today. I don't know what is actually being said or being heard, so I can mute them if you guys want, or I can have them at low volume. I'm at a very low volume right now. Thank goodness that we don't have like 6 tornado warnings right now and having all these issues, because if we did, that would be a disaster. I mean, like, this stream has been... I'm being blunt. Like, it's been a pretty bad live stream when it comes to our technical stuff. We'll hopefully have it fixed for our next live stream. Our entire thing is just getting worn down. Thank you, Dog, for becoming a 12-month member. Appreciate that. Jordan is near Bassfield, Mississippi right now. Just southwest of Collins, the Bassfield area. So he's really only a few miles away from the area of rotation. But we'll go back to this screen for now until that storm gets a little bit closer. And that's our only active tornado warning as of right now. They have issued a severe thunderstorm warning back over west of New Orleans now. Main concern is some gusty wind, or some damaging winds, excuse me. There is a tornado possible label on this. Little bit of rotation right now north of Route 90. They'll be watching that closely. And back over near Kentwood. And some broad rotation on that storm. There was a report of a wall cloud at one point. Also, this is interesting. We're not the only ones having technical difficulties today. What National Weather Service office is this? This is somewhere in Mississippi. Strong thunderstorms will impact the Eastern Union back over in southern Hardin counties through 4 p.m. At 3:19 p.m., apparently, there were storms moving northeast at 120 miles per hour. I don't think that's accurate. But, you know, if it is, that's very concerning. That would be probably the fastest storm that we've ever seen, if the storms were going that fast. And that was about an hour ago. And by the way, they never fixed the warning, apparently, so it just stayed like that. I feel bad for whoever was in that little, or it was a special weather statement. I feel bad for whoever was in that special weather statement. Look at their phone and they're like, oh my goodness, it's moving at 120 miles per hour. Like, bro, I've never seen a special weather statement that high before. That's pretty incredible speed. That's about as fast as Florida drivers are on the interstate. That's pretty wild. Imagine if a tornado warning said that. I've never seen any storm go faster than like 70, maybe 75 miles per hour. So that would be pretty crazy if we had a storm at 120 miles per hour. Tornado warning still continues for Bassfield and Prentice for a little bit longer here in Mississippi. Continue to stay in your safe place if you are in this warning. Rotation again, still really going to be right in this area here. So just west of Bassfield, moving to the east-northeast. Bottom middle of your screen, that is, again, inside the tornado warning. That is Storm Chaser Jordan Hall, who was there. As a reminder, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. And don't forget to share the stream with friends and family that might be being impacted by the storms tonight. We'll be live again here as long as needed with severe weather coverage across the deep south. Things are starting to ramp up a little bit. I think between now and 7 o'clock is going to be the peak of the severe weather threat for the deep south, for the storm activity that we are expecting when it comes to damaging winds and the tornado risk. I think after 7 o'clock, we still have severe weather that'll be happening, but the risk will be a little bit lower by then. Back up in Tennessee, there isn't much happening right now, but I do think there will be a line of storms that forms here pretty soon. Just for reference for tonight, this is the future radar. This is the latest HRRR run, which is indicating by around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, we're going to start to see another line of storms form back over near Jackson, Tennessee, and also back into northern central parts of Mississippi. The severe weather threat with the potential for an isolated strong tornado will continue in southern Mississippi and eastern Louisiana this evening. Eventually, as we get closer to 7 to 8 o'clock, this line of storms continues to intensify across Alabama, Tennessee, and then also back into Louisiana. By around 9 o'clock tonight, the line is moving into Nashville, Birmingham, and approaching Montgomery and Mobile. And then by 10, the line will be pushing through Huntsville, Nashville, and also going now into eastern Alabama and also into the Florida Panhandle by 10 to 11 o'clock tonight. Around midnight Eastern time, storms are going to be approaching Atlanta and Knoxville, mainly with an isolated wind risk, perhaps an isolated tornado, before eventually this line of storms continues to push east into parts of North Carolina, South Carolina, and as well as Virginia during the morning hours tomorrow, which is, again, where we do have an enhanced risk of severe weather in place tomorrow. And we do anticipate, again, scattered damaging winds and a couple of tornadoes being possible. And I don't really think we're going to be live tomorrow for many reasons, but the main one, I have classes, so there's pretty low chance I can't even go live for this. But even then, the risk of severe weather, it's pretty generic wind threat with maybe a tornado or two being possible. So if anything changes to that, we'll obviously keep a close eye on it. But for right now, at least, it does not look as if it's going to be a significant severe weather outbreak or anything robust compared to what we are talking about, over the last 24 hours. Let's go back over to Jordan, who is currently on the tornado warning in Bassfield. What in the world just happened? His camera, I think, just bugged. He just, teleported from one place to another. What just happened? Did he just teleport? I don't know what just happened. I'm just gonna go off Jordan for a second. He just teleported. That was kind of crazy. I legitimately don't know what happened. We'll keep him bottom middle. All right, let me go back. We're gonna go back to Jordan now. I don't think he's gonna teleport this time. Jordan is currently again in the Bassfield tornado warning. So this is his live shot. He is in downtown Bassfield, which isn't really much of a downtown, but there is a small little downtown area there. He's the only chaser, from what I know, that's inside of this tornado warning, so there is something. You'll have the ability to maybe see something here. While he's sitting here, I'm going to take a quick 60-second break. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned. All right, we are back, and Jordan teleported again, or is he driving again? He might just be lagging out. Back to live radar. Where's the tornado warning? It's in southern Mississippi, just northwest of Hattiesburg. We do have some other storms that are firing up now in Louisiana. And we are starting to see some activity kind of clearing out here. There is a little bit of a clearing back over near Roseland and Amite City. So this may allow for an isolated tornado threat to start to ramp up north of New Orleans over the next hour. And we've had some storms firing up as well back over southwest of Covent. And this will definitely be something to watch for as well. These storms moving to the northeast are in a pretty favorable environment right now. See what the tornado parameter values look like here over the next couple of hours. This one looks like right about now. This is about 5 o'clock. So the HRRR really has the majority of this tornado risk confined to eastern Louisiana over the next hour or two, even into New Orleans by around 6 tonight. And by 7 to 8, the tornado risk is starting to go down quite a bit. So I think right now we got about 2 hours left of this tornado risk being a bit more significant. And then we're pretty much done, which, again, so far really has not been significant. We haven't had any confirmed strong tornadoes or anything like that in a long time. The last time that happened was when I basically woke up this morning around like 10 in the morning. So, obviously, we were live for that. But, yeah, there has not been really much that has happened recently when it comes to tornadoes, which is a good thing. Today's environment, again, very favorable. So far, it's definitely not panned out. Just hope it continues. Let's hope that continues. Stop calling everything an outbreak. I mean, if you look at the severe weather that we've seen today and all the damage reports, I'm pretty sure this would classify as a severe weather outbreak. You know, I'm pretty knowledgeable in this space. Just being real. We've had a lot of damage reports. We've had numerous to almost widespread damaging winds across all of Louisiana. It's obviously not as numerous now, and also happened in Texas this morning. I mean, I would definitely call this a severe weather outbreak from what we've seen. I wouldn't say this was a tornado outbreak. We've only had a few tornadoes confirmed thus far. We'll have more confirmed tonight and tomorrow. I think the only, let me just double check, the only confirmed tornadoes that we've had thus far, we had one in Ada, Oklahoma that was confirmed, and then the other one in Irving, Texas. And those are the only two that have officially been confirmed so far. We'll have more confirmed as we go into tonight and tomorrow. We did have a couple radar confirmed this morning, so those numbers will just increase. They win for the super chat. Will Athens, Georgia get thunderstorms and lightning? I think most of Georgia is going to see some thunderstorms tonight. And Athens is definitely going to be in that picture. I do think you're going to at least see some storm activity overnight tonight. Mainly just an isolated damaging wind risk. Some thunderstorms will move across the state. Tornado risk should stay pretty low, though. Are these tornadoes going to be as bad as everyone was talking about or is talking about? I honestly don't think this severe weather setup is going to pan out. I kind of mentioned it yesterday too. Like, there was a chance, and there is still a chance that we see tornadoes. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's still a chance we get a strong tornado somewhere down here. Maybe a couple. But the time is running out. I mean, we only got a couple more hours until this threat is really going to be confined to just the Gulf Coast. So we got 2 or 3 hours left of the warm sector being decent. And then after that, we're kind of done.
Nice lowering on it.
So,
okay.
again, we got 2 hours. If nothing happens, then nothing happens. This is Jordan Hall on the tornado warning, southwest of Collins in Mississippi near Bassfield.
Rotating wind curtains there. Let's keep an eye on that. That could very easily be on the ground right in front of us. Rapidly rotating curtains on that.
I'd say the wind here in Texas definitely overperformed. There were some damaging wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour this morning in Dallas, Fort Worth. We had one confirmed in Decatur, Texas. I think there was another one in Irving, or around Irving. Actually, I think it was in Louisville, so. We have had several confirmations of very high winds even this morning in those areas. Huge shout out to, let me real quickly go to this real quick. Tornado warning has now been canceled, so we are back down to just normal severe thunderstorm warnings. Huge shout out to Ted with the $50 PayPal donation for the new computer. Buy one bigger than you need. You'll need it in the future. My plan at this point is to buy a new computer and probably have a bunch more monitors as well. We already have 5 monitors in this particular studio. Our new one will have like 12. But for the temporary time being, I'm probably going to add more monitors. But I do appreciate the very generous $50 PayPal. W's in the chat for Ted. And also thank you, Theme Pro, for the PayPal.
I think your escape route is a point and shoot.
And he said he apparently got blocked by a mod. I don't know. I'll have to look into this. I'm gonna copy and paste this to remember later. I don't know if you're still here, Theme Pro, but if you are, I'll look into that. That was from earlier.
Thank
you waited for the super chat. Will I ever chase? The plan is sometime later in the summer. That is the plan. Late summer, early fall.
What direction are those curtains going? Probably good.
Is there specific needs when you're chasing? You know what I need? If I'm going storm chasing, need some cheese curds. Just do your live stream on the road. That's like almost impossible to do. Like, if I'm the thing is, like, my plan to do a storm chase would have to be North Dakota or South Dakota. There's no way I could do something like Oklahoma or Texas. There's just too many people that live there. And severe weather season wise, I want to be here for almost every severe weather event. I want to be able to go live for every slight enhanced risk that happens that at least has some sort of, you know, significance to it. Even a marginal threat we may be going live for in the spring. We've done that in the past. So, you know, that's the current plan. This is Jordan Hall on that storm near Collins and Bassfield. Looks like the storm is rolling through now. Now he's repositioning. But the storm has rolled through here. It is mostly just wind. Low signal is kind of hurting the stream there. Thank you, Ryan, for the $10 super chat. If the cheese curds aren't... What? What's that even mean? They aren't squeaky? Doritos are my stress snack of choice during hurricanes. Interesting. Thank you for the insight. Apparently, a storm chaser just got into an accident, from what I am seeing. Apparently, Brad Arnold just got into an accident near I-55. I don't think it was his fault, but something just happened there. I just saw that. Thank you, Atrium, for the $5 super chat. How's the Slidell area around 7 to 8 p.m.? Trying to go out for dinner, but I'm not sure if it's going to be safe. Slidell, really, I mean, you're going to be getting hit right around 6 to 8 o'clock. So, I'm not sure if he's okay. I haven't seen anything or heard of anything. I literally just saw it a moment ago happen, so. I will be sure to let you know if I hear anything. But apparently he got rear-ended, from what I'm seeing. Happened on I-55 south of Kentwood near Mite City. That's where it happened. So hopefully he's alright. So I know the snow risk in Minnesota. Again, if you want to know more about the potential for a blizzard today, or even tonight or tomorrow, or if you want to know more about the severe weather threat for tomorrow, I definitely recommend you watch my video that I uploaded this morning. It's very relevant. It's basically the same info that I would tell you here anyway. It just saves me from answering those questions repetitively, because I've been answering those a lot. This is a live shot back over in Columbia, Mississippi right now. Big lightning here. Columbia on the Radar Omega cyclone port. Got a strong storm moving into this area with up to 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds in Columbia, Mississippi. And only a few weeks ago, we actually saw a tornado on this camera. Thank you, Beverly, for the super chat. I appreciate that. What was my favorite kind of weather? I'd say like 70, 73 degrees or so. I'd probably say, nah, actually, I'd say like 68, 70 degrees and sunny. Like the best weather. Large brush fire south of San Antonio, Texas. Yeah, there's actually, you can see it on the radar. Got a brush fire happening just south of San Antonio. That right there is a radar signature of a fire that's happening over there. Not what you want to see, but again, we have high winds, very low humidity, so. We are starting to see power outages increasing in Alabama, up to 21,000 customers without power in Alabama due to high winds out in front of this line of thunderstorms. And the main concern across the board right now is damaging winds. Tornado threat still remains on the low side temporarily, but it should increase. Maybe over the next hour. Actually, let's go over down to Louisiana. Near Bella Rose. We have some rotation ramping up in Louisiana. Right here. Couple of couplets near Donaldsonville and Paincourtville in Louisiana, heading towards Convent and Sorrento. Couple areas of rotation right here. We actually may get a tornado warning here in a moment on this activity. This will be moving in the direction of I-10 as well, and Route 61. So tornado threat possible over the next hour or so here with this area of thunderstorm activity. Looked like we also had some stuff up here. Little area of rotation that's going towards Hammond and Genesee and Tickfaw. A little bit of rotation here on the leading edge of the line. But there is definitely rotation back over here near Donaldsonville. No tornado warning as of right now. I mean, that almost looks like we had a tornado briefly near Church Spur and Sweet Home. Near Paincourtville. A couple of couplets here near Donaldsonville.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
All right, we now have a tornado warning that has been issued. This is going to include St. James, Assumption, Livingston counties or parishes in Louisiana. So Donaldson, Sorrento, Gonzales, French Settlement, and Maurepas included in this warning. Seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get into an interior room of your home or building if you are in this tornado warning. This is moving northeast at about 50 to 55 miles per hour. Thank you, Rose, for the generous $20 super chat. I did not see you for a few months, and when I come back, you have 1 million subscribers. Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you, Win, for the super chat. You can see fire sometimes with reflectivity on radar. That's the way I've been looking at some of them. And our main area of rotation is right over Donaldson and also one in Paincourtville. This is as of a couple minutes ago, just waiting for the radar to update. Once it updates, we should have a better view of this. And there are some cameras along I-10, so we're going to keep a close eye on those. Huge shout out to Adeline with the 20 gifted members. Put some W's in the chat for Adeline. Got a gifted membership. Make sure to thank Adeline in the chat. Appreciate the generosity. Oh, radar just updated as I tabbed out of it. This is the latest radar scan. We have strong rotation right now over the south side of Donaldson. So strong area of rotation right now over the south side of Donaldson. It's approaching Highway 70. And this is actually right next. This is going to be going over the Mississippi River. And then approaching McElroy and Sorrento over the next few minutes. And then more possibly in the track of this, and as well as French Settlement. Let me see. Let's go to the other radar. So some of the places that are coming up, again, are going to include I-10. And it is already raining out in front of this line of storm, so there is obviously some convection out in front that can basically limit the amount of energy the storm has to work with. But with that said, it's a very high shear environment. And this storm right now, over the south side of Donaldsonville, definitely has strong rotation. That little northern couplet we had has already occluded out. But definitely a possibility that a tornado drops here in the next minute or two, if it hasn't already, going towards central and Helvieta, south of a Bean or a Ben. Latest radar scan just came in. Again, that rotation right over near the Mississippi River now. It's going to be crossing towards I-10 here over the next few minutes. Thank you, News Force, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. Please give us an update on the Tallahassee area. There isn't anything happening in Tallahassee until like after midnight tonight. Or around midnight. Your clock is 8 seconds behind. That's because there's a 8-second stream delay. Every live stream on YouTube has a stream delay to some extent. It's something that is just natural, not really much you can do about it. All right, here's the latest radar scan. Again, that area of rotation is now over Highway 70 near Salzburg. Going to continue to track east-northeast towards McElroy over the next few minutes. And the interstate. And again, we're keeping a close eye on the interstate right now. There are some cameras up there, so we'll go to them if there is anything there. This particular tornado warning does include a population of 57,000 people. So if you know any friends or family here, make sure that they are getting to their safe place if they've not already. You know, this is a brand new segment of storms that has not really been tornadic today. We do definitely have a lot of rotation aloft on this storm. This is looking a little bit higher up into the atmosphere. A lot of rotation there near Donaldsonville as of just a few minutes ago. And looking at radar, there's definitely still a little couplet there over the east side of Donaldsonville going towards McElroy. Thank you, Caden, for becoming a member. Huge shout out to Wild Child with the $50 super chat. Put some W's in the chat for Wild Child. I haven't seen you in a while either. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate the generosity. The only other warnings that we have right now are in Mississippi or far northern Louisiana, and mainly a damaging wind risk across Mississippi right now. You have a little rotation actually developing right now near Mize, so something to watch for there. A little bit of rotation going towards Taylorsville and Bay Springs. A little hook to that storm moving northeast. Again, it's all embedded in this line of thunderstorms. We also have a new wind damage report that just came out. This is old, but this is about 2 hours old, but it is new information. Back over in Raymond, Mississippi, there were trees down on Hinds Boulevard that were blocking a road. And also in Macomb, which is where we did have a tornado warning not too long ago, there have been some reports coming out of 3-inch tree limbs that are broken. And then just northeast of Macomb in Ruth, there are a couple of trees down on the roads on the south part of the county, which is in Lincoln County. So those are just some of the new reports that we have coming out. Thank you, Win, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. All right, last couple scans, still showing a small area of rotation that has just now crossed over the Mississippi River, which is this right here. And it's actually just crossed over Highway 70, and it's really going more in the direction of Sorrento. Both McElroy and Sorrento should be in your safe places. Gonzales is the main city in this particular tornado warning. Let's hope that this area of rotation stays a bit further down to your south. Also, there is a report as of a minute ago of a rotating wall cloud off the east coast of Miami, Florida. Excuse me? There is a report of a rotating wall cloud off the east coast of Miami right now. I thought we were talking about Miami, Oklahoma. I'm not going to lie, because Miami, Oklahoma actually has storms up there. But this little storm over here off the coast of Miami apparently has a rotating wall cloud. So, I mean, wash out for a fishnado, I guess, over here. I mean, this storm does not look impressive whatsoever, but, I mean, this would be the area where we have a wall cloud if we have one. Still. I don't think we'll get a tornado around Miami, but we'll keep a close eye on that. The other, I thought we were talking about Miami, Oklahoma, which we do have some storms up here, but nothing really severe at this point. This cold core setup isn't really panning out. Fishnado is definitely possible over there. It's definitely a possibility. By the way, Brad Arnold, just an update, he got rear-ended, but he did say, someone not paying attention to the road rear-ended me on I-55. I'm okay, but not sure about my car. Frustrated more than anything. So that's what he just said on Twitter, for those that were wondering. Good thing he is okay. He just posted that update on Twitter. Memorizing, I'm not using AI for really anything. But we've had a lot of technical issues. I think the radar, I don't think the radar updating is necessarily on. Yeah, I don't think it's not just me. So I don't think the radar is just my end, but the whole camera problem that we've had this entire stream, that is all on my end, and there's not really much I can do about it on this stream, at least. I'm just gonna try this real quick and see if we can get it to work. Trying to go to a different slot, and looks like nothing's working. Oh, I have it on Jordan, that's why. Yeah, so our camera stuff is still broken. I was just double checking. I just realized Jordan's audio has been on this entire time. I don't know, I'm guessing it's been pretty quiet, but yeah, this happened once. I think the Gulf Coast winter storm, we had an issue like this, but we fixed it, and then now it's just back again. So it is what it is. We're gonna hopefully fix the issue here later this week. The cameras aren't down. It's literally just my camera software. It's just basically broken. So we're kind of lucky that we have basically 3 chasers at the bottom here that we have. But if we didn't have chasers, like, I literally couldn't put I would have to put every camera in manually. And the thing is, like, we have an entire software with a bunch of cameras in it that we can just swap in and out really easily. And for some reason, the cameras just aren't actually getting onto the streaming software. So who knows? It's something I'll figure out after the stream. I've already tried solving it on the stream and it's just not worked. So all good though. Thank you, Kay, from coming a member. It's not like we have any camera views that are like crazy anyways right now. I mean, if we had one, I would just manually put it on. But nothing like crazy or out of the ordinary is happening like at this exact time that we'd be able to pick up on camera. But we do have a camera on I-10 on the Louisiana dot traffic cams. And this is inside of the tornado warning. Right side of your screen is, I believe, where we're going to be looking for the storm. There might be a few others, though, that have a little bit better of a view. And this one has kind of the same view. The right side of the screen is where the storm is going to be coming from. We'll keep an eye on if the wind starts picking up or not, but the rotation on this storm has been a lot broader over the last few scans. We have this terminal radar site just west of New Orleans that is able to pick up on the velocities as well. And the rotation itself has weakened a ton over the last few minutes. So that was a really quick little tornado risk that kind of tried to ramp up there, and it hasn't had a whole lot of success. So we may have had a brief tornado there momentarily, but for now it appears as if that tornado risk is lower again. And there you go. The tornado warning has now been canceled. So we are back to no tornado warnings across the board in Louisiana or Mississippi or even Alabama. As a reminder, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. And don't forget, share the stream with your friends and family that might be in track of these storms. Again, we'll be live here for as long as needed, which may only be another hour, might be another 3 hours, might be another 6 hours, you never know. See how the storms continue to evolve, but again, so far we've been pretty fortunate. Again, there have not been any discrete cells that have fired off out in front of the line, which is a good thing. If any discrete cells fired off out in front of the line, we'd be talking about almost undoubtedly a strong tornado threat. But good thing is it's been pretty tame. Check the dust storm in Texas. Here's what it looks like right now. All the dust is currently across San Antonio, Austin, and is pushing now towards Houston. If you're in Houston, Texas, you might get some dust here coming in an hour or two. That could reduce visibility substantially. Again, any of this yellow is dust. We have plenty of it flying across Texas with high winds happening right now. Very strong winds as well coming out of the Gulf, which is leading to rapidly moving clouds south to north in addition to high winds. Obviously, your storm activity is all up in here across Mississippi, Alabama, and it's going to start ramping up again in Tennessee. And then also back around this low pressure system, blizzard conditions are beginning to ramp up back up in Nebraska and Kansas right now. That is also something else to watch for. Thank you, Kiara, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. Fill us in on the Fishnado. Let's check it out. We had a little, apparently, a wall cloud reported near Miami. If we still have a wall cloud, it would be with this right here, that little cell that's moving northwest towards Hollywood. If I had to guess, they may issue a special weather statement for like this really small area, just indicating that there's a funnel cloud or something, or a wall cloud, or wind gusts, but I honestly don't think that storm's even going to survive to the coast. I don't think it's going to be able to move inland very much. This is back over in Columbia, Mississippi on the cyclone port. Wind is pretty light right now. We got the line of storms rolling in over the next couple of minutes. Can you check if the dust storm is going to make it to Florida? I don't think so. That would be quite the cross-country trip if it made it to Florida. Little update from the Storm Prediction Center. Blizzard conditions should become more common through the evening. Gusts to 70 miles per hour and moderate to heavy snowfall rates are possible. That is for those in eastern parts of Nebraska, including Kearney, Grand Island, Norfolk, Ord, and Columbus. Looks like the storms have been moving through Columbia over the last several minutes. This is back over in Hattiesburg. Another live shot on the cyclone port. Should I be concerned in Pittsburgh tomorrow? I don't think there's really much reason to be concerned. Just stay weather aware. And I think tomorrow is mostly going to be just some scattered damaging winds and a couple of tornadoes. I don't think tomorrow is going to be like a tornado outbreak or anything like that. I'm talking about like the entire East Coast. We're not just talking about one state here. So, I think tomorrow is just a couple, maybe a few tornadoes at most, some damaging winds. And that's really about it. I don't know if we're going to have a video tomorrow morning either. I'm kind of debating on making a video for tomorrow morning. Talking about the threat. If we make a video, it would be up at about 7 a.m. Eastern time or so. It'd be a bit earlier than today's. I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence about making a video for tomorrow. You guys want a video tomorrow morning? I mean, it'd be talking about the severe weather threat. I don't even know. I don't know if I can really make a video tomorrow morning about this. It's really kind of... I don't even know. I was kind of debating on making a video today, and I made a video, and then all of a sudden we went live an hour later, so it kind of was pointless to make a video. This is the future radar for tomorrow. We got a line of storms moving through around 9-10 a.m. in the Carolinas. Mostly just some wind. Stays as a line all the way through lunchtime and into the early afternoon. The tornado risk here will be low, not zero, but low. I don't really see much tomorrow, honestly, aside from the wind. It's going to be a few hours of wind mainly in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina. I think the enhanced risk is warranted for wind. The tornado risk, in my opinion, it'll probably end up being pretty low. I'll have probably at least a few tornado warnings, but Yeah, I don't see tomorrow being like a full-fledged outbreak or anything like that. Here are the tornado parameter values. Notice how low they are tomorrow. It's a very small area near like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina around lunchtime and just after lunchtime that actually has some environment for a tornado tomorrow. There's also a very small little environment that's very conditional across Maryland and Pennsylvania during the mid to late afternoon and early evening that can maybe spark something too. And this is also the wrap, which is slightly different, but the wrap also shows a very similar story. So, in all honesty, I don't think tomorrow is significant enough for a live stream. I just don't see it being significant enough. We do have a little storm right now west of Mount Vernon that has a little bit of rotation in Missouri. This is a part of that cold core tornado setup today. I do not think we have any storm chasers here. I'm going to double check and see. I don't think we have any chasers on this stuff, but just west of Springfield, northeast of Joplin. Actually, no, we do. We do have Ben Williams out there. I don't know what camera I got to find to get him on here. Let me look where he is first. Let me see here. Okay, so Ben is just east of Joplin. So if Ben has something, we'll definitely go to him. He is actually going on this cold core tornado setup, so we actually do have a chaser up there, apparently. So if something happens for some reason, we'll have probably a view of something. Probably actually just do this. Let me try this. Boom, boom. One of these buttons. Maybe this one. Maybe that one. Nope, it's not that one. Oh, I have to take off Brandon. Alright, bottom right of your screen, that's Ben Williams. He's near that cold core tornado setup, so if he gets a little bit closer to something, we'll go to him. Full cam. Take a break tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know what we're doing tomorrow. I want to make a video tomorrow, but I also don't know if there's enough to talk about tomorrow for a video. Is Brad Arnold okay? Yes, he is okay. He has said he is okay. He is not in the wrong from the sounds of it, so I'm going to stay on Brandon until he gets a bit closer to that. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Haven't had many of these this afternoon, but we do have a new one for Lamar, Forest, and Marion counties in Mississippi. That's going to be for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Just going to stay zoomed out for now. Brad is okay. From what I've heard, he is okay. He said it on Twitter. Thank you, Don, for becoming a VIP Velocity member. Appreciate that. Brad Arnold, again, is the one that got into the accident. But again, from what I've seen, he is okay. So, it's all that matters. Car can be replaced, a life cannot. So, good thing he is, from what, again, what he's also said is that he is okay. Hey Shelby for the 8 months. I need you tomorrow. It's not like I would be live tomorrow any day of the week essentially if it wasn't for me being in college, because college, I mean, I have classes pretty much all morning tomorrow, and the majority of the threat is going to happen from like 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. So there's almost no chance I can be live tomorrow. You know, I just, again, I don't think tomorrow's gonna be that significant anyway. Like, I think, again, it's just some scattered damaging winds, maybe a brief tornado or two. But it's nothing like today, or at least today's potential, because today's potential, we had a threat here for strong tornadoes. It hasn't really transpired by any means here. We've had some rotation this afternoon, but just nothing's really come out of it. So I'm not saying we won't see anything else. It's just the risk, generally speaking, has been underperforming across the deep south. It was overperforming, in my opinion, this entire stretch here. Dallas-Fort Worth all the way back through Shreveport. This morning when we went live, I think that entire event was an overperforming event this morning. The wind threat has been performing right on par. The tornado risk is the one thing that has not been performing much compared to what we were forecasting. And it's a very high shear environment. I mean, we have very favorable, thermodynamic atmosphere here when it comes to both the amount of instability that we have, the amount of wind shear that we have. It just has not really panned out. So, yeah, not saying we're not going to see anything else tonight. Just, it has been a very quiet last few hours.
A new tornado
While I
warning
say that,
has
we got a
been
tornado
issued.
warning. All right, we do have a brand new tornado warning back over in Louisiana. This will be for St. James and Ascension Parish in Louisiana. St. John the Baptist as well included in this. So this is going to be right back over near LaPlace, near Lucher, just west of New Orleans, near I-10. So if you are in this tornado warning, seek shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get into an interior room of your home or building. Mercy, Edgard, LaPlace, Freener are the main locations in this warning. It is also along the I-55 highway as well that it's going to be heading towards. And this rotation's actually been ramping up a lot over the last few minutes. It's actually right over Lucher, or Lutcher. So seek shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and get into an interior room of your home or building if you are in this tornado warning. Trying to see if we have any live shots in this area. The really next live shot that we're going to have is going to be back over near LaPlace. So if the storm does get over there, that'll be an area that we have to watch for. Apparently, every time I say the word quiet, we get a tornado warning. I think it's time to start saying the word quiet. Just got a new severe thunderstorm warning, as I say that word, back over in Mississippi for Covington and Jones counties in Mississippi. It's for damaging winds with 60 miles per hour. I guess we're just not saying that word anymore. That's going to be for Laurel. So the Laurel area north of Hattiesburg. And Hattiesburg is also in a severe thunderstorm warning. This is what it looks like right now in Hattiesburg. Clouds are racing left to right on the screen. And damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour being a possibility. This is also the Forest County Emergency Office just south of Hattiesburg. Nothing too crazy there right now. Columbus is just rain at this point. All right, let's go back to the terminal radar site. Has not updated in 8 minutes. That radar has been getting more and more delayed, so we're going to stay on this one. Which right now, we actually have tight rotation right over between 61 and Interstate 10. We don't have a debris signature update, but if we have a tornado, it'd be right out near Interstate 10 right now. They have just updated the warning. It is still radar indicated. And no debris signature as of right now, but right there, we do have a stronger area of rotation that's going to be approaching Interstate 10 and eventually going towards Interstate 55. Thank you, Rhonda, for becoming a moderate velocity member. Thank you, Mike, for becoming a member as well. How's Tennessee today? Main risk up there is going to be damaging winds, and that's going to come a little bit after 6 or 7 o'clock. Gonna have a line of storms forming up there, so low end risk for some damaging winds. Nothing too out of the ordinary, though, in my opinion. Should be a pretty ordinary type of severe weather setup up there with a line of storms rolling through. Should have another radar scan here in a moment. And we are keeping a very close eye on this storm, as it is not far away from New Orleans. You know, we do have some storms that are kind of in the vicinity here of New Orleans that definitely could turn a bit more concerning if they're able to ramp up. We have a couple more back over west of Lockport and Homa that are maybe going to try to organize here over the next little while. Do have a CC update. Nothing that's visually confirming a tornado right now near I-10. Thank you, Media, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Karen, also for the super chat. Am I feeling better? I've been feeling a bit better over the last few days. Still going to be in my system probably for, maybe a week or so. Also, thank you, Win, for the super chat. I don't know if I already said thank you, but I don't have an answer to that. I don't even really listen to either one of them, so I don't have an opinion. Is there still rotation near Miami? We still got a baby storm coming into Miami, Florida. We had a reported wall cloud about 30 minutes ago near Sunny Isles Beach. And we still have a little bit of rotation moving into Hollywood, Florida. No special weather statement or anything, but you never know. Might see a little funnel cloud or wall cloud over the town of Hollywood. In that environment, we don't really have much of a risk of an actual tornado, but nonetheless, it's definitely interesting. How's Cheese Curd? I don't know. She's probably sleeping somewhere. I haven't seen her in a while. How's New Orleans looking the next hour? It's pretty tame, I think, for another, 45 minutes to an hour. But I do think we are going to start to see some storms there within the next, I would say about an hour from now, there will be storms probably right over top of New Orleans. Tornado warning has just been updated again. Still radar indicated. It mostly now only includes Ruddock along I-55 north of La Place. Again, just west of New Orleans. So if you are in the tornado warning, continue to stay in your safe place. I don't know what our population is here, but it's shrinking pretty quickly. Because this is mostly just a couple of interstates in this particular tornado warning. Hey, wait for the super chat. My son watches you and wants to know how old I am. I am 22. Pup, I've seen the mesoscale. I got that. Thank you. Thank you, Airstar, for the super chat. Across Wisconsin? I mean, there's mostly going to be snow up there tomorrow morning. That's like the main thing up there in Wisconsin. Aside from that, just windy, some rain. Nothing really too crazy other than the blizzard condition potential in parts of Wisconsin. Thank you, Nick, for the 9 months. Heard that Ohio Valley could get into the 70s next week. I don't know. I haven't really looked that far ahead, but I do think we are going to have a pretty big heat wave during the middle of March. So we're going to have a video for sure. A Thursday, we're definitely going to have a video talking about the weather going into the middle of March. I do think we're going to have a lot of stuff happening when it comes to the temperatures increasing, and we're likely going to see even more severe weather in the middle of March. So it should get pretty interesting. This is a live shot inside of this tornado warning right now. We'll stay here for a moment. This is a live shot inside of the tornado warning on I-55. Any videos of the Miami wall cloud? Not that I'm aware of. I heard there were photos. It is very difficult to really clearly see anything with the raindrops being on the lenses of this camera. But, I mean, if there was a tornado or anything like that in this particular, with this particular storm, might be able to see it. We just got a new radar scan. Still not seeing anything super definitive via radar of a tornado. Let me go off this camera. Let's go back to the live radar. This is just about 5 minutes ago. Storm still has a little hook on it. It's gonna be going into the lake here in just a few minutes. We also have a little bit of rotation, actually, just east of the radar site near Hammond. Actually, over Robert right now. A little bit of rotation there on the leading edge of this line. A little bit of rotation also a little further down to the south. The Hattiesburg area is also about to get hit with some damaging winds. The tornado risk with this area of storms is relatively low at this point. Definitely not zero. Oops, I didn't realize Ben Williams was on the screen. He is no longer live. And Brandon Kopic has lost connection. Oh, now he's back. But I'm going to see if we can get Corey on here, because I think Corey's a little bit closer to these storms. Alright. How many tornadoes have we seen so far today? I don't think we've had a single one in this live stream. I could be wrong. I don't think we've had a single one in this live stream, though. The one we had this morning, we had a few. And we had plenty of tornadoes overnight. We had a bunch during the morning hours, so it was pretty active then. But it's been pretty quiet here over the last few hours. Sorry, I said the word again. My bad. I didn't mean to say the word. But it's been I don't even know what word to use. I don't know what else I can use. Like, let's just use the word mid. It's been a mid over the last few hours. Oh man. I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, it's been that way. It's been the keyword. If we get another tornado warning in the next like 5 minutes, you can blame me, because that's on me. Didn't mean to say it. When is South Carolina gonna get it? Tomorrow morning. I am still debating on whether to make a video tomorrow morning. I'll decide tonight. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making a video tomorrow morning. I don't know if there's enough to talk about. I mean, the severe weather threat I could talk about. I don't know. I don't really know yet. Could say it's been less active. It's pretty much interpreting the same thing. Hey, Joe Hoff for the super chat. I'm well aware. I didn't mean to say the word. I do apologize. Next time we'll make sure not to say it. It's like a banned word that I'm gonna have to somehow figure out how to keep banned. Pretty interesting stuff happening here. This is the latest radar scan that is coming in, which once it comes in, you'll see what this storm looks like, which is pretty interesting. There is a very interesting little hook to this storm. This is the latest scan. If we have a tornado, it's actually going to be right in this little hook here. So it's going over a small little lake here, north of La Place, and it'll be heading towards I-55. Let me see if that camera has anything on I-55. Actually, it does. Let's go to the I-55 cam. Storm is rolling in as long as it loads, which it is not loading. And it's flipped upside down. Excuse me? What is going on with this camera? Oh my goodness. I'm getting dizzy. What is this camera doing? It actually had a view of something a moment ago, and now it's just not working. All right, I'm going to go back to that if it actually comes back up. That camera had a view of something. Okay, it has a view again. Oh, no, it's just going in circles. Oh, okay, I think we got it. All right. Camera control man was playing around with it. But this is the storm right here. This is the tornado warned cell. So this is the storm. It's out in the distance. We're looking south, I believe, which would be, this is, well, it is looking south. This is the storm itself that is moving in here over the next couple of minutes. I mean, this is the interstate 55 that goes right over the water. And here comes the rain and the wind. Picking up pretty quickly now. What's for dinner tonight? I have no clue. After all the crazy stuff that has happened over the last 24 hours, I need a good dinner. It has been so hectic. Thank you, Win, for the super chat. When will Maryland get hit? Sometime late, not really late tomorrow morning, but like in the early to mid-afternoon hours is the main time frame. Well, the rain is picking up in addition to all the wind. Again, this is inside the tornado warning on I-55. Wow, it is really windy. It is very windy right now on I-55. You can see the trees blowing bottom left. Wind has picked up a lot here over the last few minutes. And it has calmed down temporarily. This is what it looks like on live radar. And if we have a tornado, it would be this right here. And now we have a very tiny tornado warning. So this tornado warning now includes a square mileage of about 6 to 7 miles north to south and like 3 miles across. So very small little tornado warning now that is in place. I'm going to go back to this camera because it is pretty much in the position where, I mean, if we have a tornado or something, it'd be on the right side. We have a little hook on the back side of the storm, so that's kind of what we're waiting for. We'll see if we can see anything here. Thank you, Blue Snacks, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. The warning has a population of 2. Is that actually true? Wait, actually, it might be. It was 137 a few minutes ago. You're not wrong. It is literally 2. So if you are one of those 2 people that are inside of this tornado warning, seek shelter. No, I mean, there are people traveling along the interstate. I mean, for the record, so, like, you know, people traveling along the interstate technically don't count in the population, but there are people traveling on the interstate, so. Hi, what's up? East Kurt is awake. Let me go back to that camera. Just curious to see if anything's developed over the last couple minutes. Thank you, Lotus, for the $20 super chat. Appreciate the generosity. Now, I honestly do think the National Weather Service stuff that's been happening is going to make every meteorologist's job not just harder, but it's also going to make forecasts less accurate, and it's going to create more chaos. So I think everything that's happening right now to the NOAA and the National Weather Service should not be happening at all. If anything, they should be being funded more, because if we continue to see defunding of both the National Weather Service and the NOAA, there's going to be a ton of forecast models that we're not going to be able to have, because they're apparently proposing to get rid of 2 of the buildings that run like half the computer models that we use. If we get rid of those, we have a lot less guidance to go off of. So it is a major problem if either of those continue to get cut as much as they have been already. So, and it's not a political thing, right? It's literally just the facts. Like, it's simply what the truth is, right? If we continue to cut it, we are going to have less resources. The forecasts are going to be less accurate. And in addition to that, there's just going to be more chaos when it comes to weather. I mean, that's what, you know, last year, for example, we had so many tornadoes that were not warned. We covered so many tornadoes that were not warned, and most of them were because of understaffing at National Weather Service offices. Happened in Oklahoma City. It happened back over in Nebraska. I mean, it's happened so many times, and it happened a lot last year. Now, that was obviously before all these cuts and stuff, but it's a major problem. I don't understand why some people think it's just this whole political frenzy. I don't find it political at all. I just think, factually speaking, there are going to be a lot more problems with weather forecasting if all of this continues. And people can make it political. I don't really care. But, I mean, that's just my opinion. And obviously, I'm in the space. There are many media, almost every, I don't think there's a single meteorologist that does not agree with that statement. If there is, I'd be pretty surprised. So. Hey, Richard and RM for becoming members. Welcome to the Velocities. We do have a new mesoscale discussion out. This is the latest Storm Prediction Center mesoscale discussion for tonight, which is mainly for the next couple of hours. Greatest short-term severe weather threat will be in southern parts of Mississippi and eastern Louisiana over the next couple of hours. How long have I been streaming today? We're at about a total of almost 8 hours now today. We had a 4.5 hour stream to start the day, so. Also, we now have a new tornado watch that has just been issued. So, brand new tornado watch issued now for parts of Florida and Alabama, which goes until 1 a.m. tonight. A few tornadoes are likely. Scattered damaging wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour is also likely in Clanton, Selma, Montgomery, Monroeville, Bruton, Opp, Mobile, Alabama, and then also in Pensacola, Crestview, and Santa Rosa Beach in Florida are now included in this brand new tornado watch. Includes about 2 million people. So have multiple ways to receive alerts if you're in this area. Thank you, Tinker, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. Also, huge shout out to Paul with the $50 Venmo. Thanks for what you do. I drive a semi-truck. Very good info that you have. I appreciate that. W's in the chat for Paul with the $50 Venmo donation. Sports Clips loves Max. I haven't been to a Sports Clips in like eons. I think the last time I went to one was like 10 years ago. By the way, tornado warning has now been canceled. We are now onto a fish-nado alert here. Oops. We're now into a fish-nado alert in the lakes here, back over north of New Orleans. So might see a fish-nado, but rotation's been pretty broad on most of this activity. Pull out the Fishnado graphic. I don't have a Fishnado graphic yet. We have to make one. We got to make a Fishnado graphic at some point. That's a pretty good idea. We have a flying trampoline graphic, but not a Fishnado graphic. Needs to happen. And this right here is just a... that's hinting at a Fishnado right there. That little storm. It still says 1 tornado warning. Yeah, it technically has been canceled. But even if it wasn't, I think the expiration time is in 3 minutes anyway. I don't see the detail. Oh yeah, it expires in 3 minutes anyway, or 2 minutes now, so it's technically over. How long have I been live? We've been live since... I mean, this stream, we've been live since about 2:30, and then the stream that we had this morning started at like 8. So it's been a long day. And a lot of stuff happening. This little special marine warning almost looks like a fat fish. Maybe it's hinting at a Fishnado happening here soon. This little storm here over the lake does look interesting, though. Definitely rotation. Actually, we probably have a Fishnado right now. There you go. Little tight couplet there, east of Ruddock and east of Interstate 55. Probably a Fishnado there. It's going to be over the lake here for quite a while. And then we might see something cross over this very long bridge, which is called... I don't know how to pronounce that. The very long bridge that goes from New Orleans to Mainville. Thank you, Gage, for becoming a member. And also thank you, Ben, for the $10 super chat. Thank you for Kansas City. I appreciate all that you do. I don't own a weather radar. Can you recommend me one? Radar Omega is the one I use right now. So it's the only one I really can recommend right now. I don't know if I don't know. I haven't really tried a whole lot of other apps. But we'll probably try some here in the future. We'll see. That's like in my opinion, like the easiest one to use. Punch a train? Is that how you pronounce it? Punch a train bridge? Did today classify as a bust? I would say the tornado risk so far, you know, we're not done yet with today, but so far the tornado risk in the deep south has not performed. And we have not, I don't think, had a confirmed tornado with this event. The severe risk when it comes to wind has been correct. It might, you could even debate that it's been actually overperforming a little bit back into Louisiana. The risk of severe weather from Dallas and Fort Worth all the way back into Northwest Louisiana, that, in my opinion, has performed, and actually in some cases overperformed with both tornadoes and wind. But this was a bit more of a conditional tornado risk today. I mentioned it in yesterday's stream and even yesterday's video. This one was kind of a hit or miss. It would either be big or it'd probably be kind of on the lower end, and it's definitely been on the lower end. So, no, it's been pretty tame. Thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. Thank you, Amy, for becoming a member, and also thank you, Sandy, for the $10 super chat. Well, I can help. Keep your mind off things. We still do have a little bit of rotation back up in Missouri. And this year, a little cold core tornado setup. There's a little bit of rotation near Merritt and Red Bank, moving northeast. And we still have a little bit of rotation as well near Ash Grove. That is going to be moving towards Pleasant Hope and Bolivar. So something to watch for there. Again, not really anything too serious right now happening up here. Just something to watch. And we did have a snow squall warning back up near Hastings not too long ago. Snow is continuing to ramp up across Nebraska. This is essentially blizzard conditions back over in Stanton County in Nebraska. Very high winds. The snow isn't really too heavy right now, but very low visibility. Thank you, Tyler, for the super chat. We call that bridge the Causeway. Good to know. They actually just issued a new snow squall warning. Has just been issued south of York, near Exeter and Geneva in Nebraska. Got an interesting storm right here near the radar site west of New Orleans. Pretty decent storm right now over La Place. Gonna be tracking into the lake Pontchartrain here soon. But definitely a little interesting storm there. Yes, there is a tornado watch until 1 a.m. in Montgomery. That's for also the Florida Panhandle as well. All right. Let's just check on the storms back up near Hattiesburg. We got severe weather now rolling into Hattiesburg. Let's go to the camera on the University of Southern Mississippi. This is the cyclone port. Downtown, damaging winds of 60 miles per hour possible with this storm. Wind will be picking up here over the next few minutes. Hattiesburg is also another location we've covered multiple times already this year. Multiple times we've covered this particular location. I'm curious what the biggest tornado Max has streamed. I have actually no clue what the biggest one is. We have covered so many different tornadoes. We've covered just so many. I couldn't think of like the biggest one that we've covered off the top of my head. Hey, Tracy for the super chat. What is a fishnado? It's just it's a water spout. It's basically a tornado over water. We just call it a fishnado. I mean, technically, there's probably gonna be fish being sucked up by a water spout. So, fishnado makes sense, you know. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this storm as it moves back into the Slidell area and Pearl River here in the next 30 minutes. We are seeing some rotation ramping up right now over Lake Pontchartrain, going towards Maineville. It's probably about 20 minutes from getting over this lake, but this is a bit more of a concerning area of activity. The rotation's been a little bit more intense in this particular segment, so we'll have to watch this closely. May end up getting a tornado warning on that at some point soon, if that is able to maintain intensity as it crosses the lake. And then around LaPlace and west of New Orleans, not really much of a severe weather risk as of right now. The main severe weather risk is, again, back up in Mississippi, but this entire segment of storms has been intensifying over the last couple of hours. So severe weather risk is gradually increasing right now along the Gulf Coast. Gonna guess Greenfield, Iowa last year. I don't think Greenfield was the biggest tornado we've ever covered. Actually, El Dorado, Oklahoma is probably the biggest one. Now, if you're talking about damage-wise, I think Greenfield was probably the strongest. I think the biggest was El Dorado. Because we covered El Dorado, Oklahoma, and that was a big tornado. Like, that was pretty crazy. That tornado was literally massive. I mean, that was just a massive pipe that was coming out of the sky. That was a crazy stream. I remember that pretty well. That was like just straight up shocking, that tornado. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but that was a massive tornado. Barnesville was also crazy. I agree. Barnesville was also crazy. What is a snow squall warning? It's basically a severe thunderstorm warning, but for snow that is going to basically reduce visibility to near 0 miles. Blowing snow, drifting snow, heavy snow, all that sort of stuff, basically. And it's essentially like this. It's like a line of thunderstorms in a way, but instead it's like snow, and it's usually smaller, and it's not usually as intense when it comes to the DVZ values, but it's basically what it is. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning for Jasper and Clark counties in Mississippi for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. And that is all the way back up here, south of Meridian. And there's actually a little bit of rotation with this activity, too. A little bit of rotation northwest of Heidelberg. It's going to go towards Stonewall, Quitman, and Enterprise. And that's currently tracking to the east-northeast. And then back up into Tennessee. We were supposed to see a resparking of a line of thunderstorms here soon. Hasn't really gotten going yet, but we'll keep a close eye on that in western Tennessee. Thank you, LPH, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, Sandy, also for the super chat. Mayfield was big, over 4 states and 300 miles. Yeah, we weren't live for the Mayfield tornado, though. We did not cover that one. I'd say 2024 is really the year where we started covering big severe weather events, because I didn't do a whole lot of that before. Mostly just did videos and low-end severe weather days in 2022 and 2023. How's the cat? It's going. She's just sleeping right now. Just chilling and sleeping. Will Houston get fire conditions and dust storm conditions? I think you guys are going to see a little bit of dust tonight. Still, I think you'll see a little bit of dust. This is the dust. It'll probably fizzle out as it gets closer, but I think there's going to be a little bit of dust going into Houston. It's not really far, honestly. We're about within an hour. You should see a little bit of dust coming in. It won't be nearly as thick or as heavy, I think, as Dallas and Fort Worth and whatnot, but there will still be some dust moving into your area. Will the risk of tornadoes drop when in Georgia? I think the risk of tornadoes is going to be dropping, honestly, once storms are even, like, east of this line right here. So even starting in eastern Alabama. There's still a low chance for a brief spin up overnight, but it's a relatively low risk for the Atlanta metro or really anywhere in Georgia. I checked my last super chat. I don't know if I saw it. Oh, Nate also asked about the Nashville area. Nate will. The Nashville area is mostly going to be just some isolated damaging winds this evening. I'm not anticipating, again, anything out of the ordinary or significant up there. All right. Thank you, Win, for the super chat. There will be severe storms in Georgia tonight. Again, it's mostly going to be after about 10 o'clock tonight. Oh, he's asking about weather radios. If you want a weather radio, the only ones that I really can vouch for, because I have them and I've used them, as the Midland weather radios. But there are plenty of options, and I think almost any one of the options that you can find will work. But Midland is like the main company that does weather radios. Anything going on in Oklahoma? Let's check in. I haven't really looked at Oklahoma recently. Check in real quick and see. Oklahoma's had that little cold core tornado setup. Doesn't look like it's really going to transpire in anything there. Back over in Missouri, it was a little bit more interesting. We've had some storms rotating, like near Ava and Ash Grove. There's been some rotation near the Walnut Grove area, just south of Bolivar, but not really much. Got a little cell here as well near Morrisville. It's rotating. But yeah, this tornado threat also really hasn't done much, which again, it was a low-end risk to begin with. Really, the only thing that has really transpired today was what we had this morning. Back over in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and northwest Louisiana. Those were the craziest places today, honestly. There has not been a whole lot since that has really wowed me when it comes to this storm system. Hey, Tracy, for becoming a member, welcome to the Velocities. The dust storm was pretty impressive in Texas. All the winds that are very high are impressive. I think the blizzard will be impressive tonight as well. Yeah, the severe weather threat has definitely been pretty on the low end today, other than what we had this morning. This is back over in the University of Southern Mississippi in Hattiesburg, by the way. There's a storm rolling through. Wind is pretty calm, just some gusty winds. Again, it is under a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds. At this point, like my main concern from here on out will be these storms right along the Gulf Coast, like the one near Maineville, which and the radar has not been updating, which is super frustrating. I don't know why it has not been updating right today. But we have rotation south of Maineville that we got to watch closely. There is some rotation there. Mandeville, thank you. Thank you, Brian, for becoming a member. Welcome to the Velocities. New Orleans should be mostly wind. The tornado risk in New Orleans is on the lower side of things at this point. It's not zero, but it's on the lower side. I don't understand why the radar is just not updating. Like, this is not a radar issue, it's literally just the app, I'm pretty sure, because it's been like this all day. We need to get a backup radar for streams like this, because I don't know what's going on. Like, this entire stream we've had radar issues for updating. The radar scan just missed this entire area. Had 93 mile per hour wind gusts in Kansas today. That sounds very high. I think the highest I've seen confirmed was 82, I think, in like eastern New Mexico. I think that was like the highest number I've seen so far. Mardi Gras was now canceled. The major parades rooted in the French Quarter is wild as usual. Okay. There will be storms coming through in the next hour or so. It's going to be mostly wind and some lightning. I don't really think the tornado risk will be that high there. Should be on the lower side of things. The storms that are just to the south and now east of this radar site near Hanville, they're not really too intense. It's going to be, again, mostly wind and some lightning. Hey, Tyler, for the super chat. It's not even the radar. It's literally just the app. I'm looking at my phone app and it's updated correctly. This is still 16 minutes behind. I can literally show you. Like, this is what it looks like in Maineville right now. That's your rotation. It's Mandeville. It's just south of Mandeville. There's rotation. Radar's just so far behind. Oh, I'm gonna refresh this and see if it works. I don't know what's going on. It's literally 21 minutes behind on the velocities. I'm gonna have to get a backup radar because this is unbearable. I literally can't do anything about it either. It's just broken. Odds of severe weather in Cleveland tomorrow. The risk of severe weather in Cleveland is going to be on the low side of things. Just isolated damaging winds is the main concern. The background always catches me off guard. It's a fantastic background. I don't know what else to tell you. One of the best backgrounds you'll ever see. I don't know. Still has not updated. It's been like 25 minutes almost. What's tomorrow look like? Make sure to watch my video from this morning. That has all the details about tomorrow. I'll probably do a video tomorrow morning at this point, talking about the severe weather risk for tomorrow, which will be today when I record the video, and we'll go more in detail then. But definitely this morning's video, it has all the details you need to know. Not really many things have changed since then for the forecast. All right, so this is what the rotation looks like. I don't know if we're going to get a tornado warning on this, but there is at least a little bit of rotation that's just to the south of Mandeville. It's going to be going towards Lacombe and Interstate 12 over the next several minutes. Again, I don't know what the radar is doing. It's so far behind. But this is an area that we have a storm right now that's going to be approaching the coastline going towards I-12. Pearl River, Slidell eventually being the track of it. At this point, again, I think from here on out, I think it's going to be mostly a damaging wind risk. Could still see a couple of tornadoes over the next few hours, so just have a tornado action plan ready to go, and multiple ways to receive alerts. But I'm going to be honest, guys, there's just so many technical difficulties happening on this stream. I can't continue the coverage with this. The radar's not updating properly, and my camera program's been down for the last, like, 3 or 4 hours, so... you know, I do apologize. It's been a rough stream. We've had a lot of issues on this afternoon stream. I've never had this many issues before, including the radar not updating. That is probably the most frustrating of them all. I could care less about the cameras, but I think we're going to end the stream there. I know Ryan Hall is still live, so if you guys need weather coverage, feel free to watch him. I'm guessing he's going to be live for a little bit longer, especially since we still have some severe weather out there. But, yeah. Let me... the chat just disconnected for some reason. But let me make sure we're still in chat. Did the YouTube just break? I don't know if YouTube just broke, but on my end it just broke. Can you guys still see the stream? Alright, I think it's back now. Never mind. Alright. Thank you, Audie, for the super chat, and also thank you, Allison, for the super chat. But... yeah, I'm gonna end the stream there, guys. Again, I apologize for all the issues. There's not really much I can do, and I've already gone live twice today, and I can't go live a third time. Otherwise, like, notifications just get broken. We're gonna go ahead and raid Corey Gherkin, so if you want to check him out, we'll raid him real quick. Make sure to go check him out. And we'll see you guys all again in the next video tomorrow morning. Hopefully I can fix all these live stream issues. This was a very frustrating stream for me. I did not mean to make it frustrating for you guys by any means. It's been that kind of day. I don't know. It's just been rough. So appreciate you guys all watching. See you guys all again in the next video and live stream. Next video probably tomorrow. Live stream is currently 35-40% chance for tomorrow. So we'll keep you posted. Thank you all for watching. And we'll see you guys all again in the next stream. And don't forget, 1 million subscriber merch is out. ShopMaxVelocity.net. That is the top link in the description below. That is the best way to support the channel. And we'll see you guys all again in the next one.